A beautiful naked French chick who at one point turns into a gelatinous blood creature, epic screaming from one of the all-time great actors, London getting destroyed, and space vampires. We watched Lifeforce. We watch it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Hey, what's up, Moongoons? We are Horrible Horror Podcast, and if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you. Lifeforce!
Lifeforce.
Lifeforce instead of suck it, I was fake.
Lifeforce, baby.
Lifeforce!
Yes, we are Horrible Horror Podcast, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary.
Aaron, take my job over for me today. All
and
right.
we watched Lifeforce.
I was trying to do a channel little DX there. It is SummerSlam weekend. SummerSlam is the biggest block party of the summer. Anyway, but it's not quite WrestleMania, so I'm not going to go all wrestle out here, but I wanted to channel a little bit of DX.
You've been on a wrestling kick lately.
Yeah, well.
Doing the wrestling-inspired intros. I don't hate it. I don't mind it.
It's give me something to kind of mix it up with every now and then.
Yeah,
It's kind of a little fun.
You've really gotten deep back into wrestling, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess I kind of have.
Yeah, I know Chris Samples watches it with his kids, too. Like,
Yeah,
he's
Chris will text me during the pay-per-view. He's like, dude, you watch? I'm like, yeah, I'm watching. Like, wow, well, this, and we'll comment on it back and forth through our text while we watch the pay-per-views.
I'm out, man. I'm out. I'm like the lonely man out here not watching any wrestling at all.
Yeah, you're missing out on some good stuff.
I hear
NXT. NXT has been great. I like that. I like NXT better than the actual main roster stuff lately.
I got nothing. You remember the Brood? They were cool. 1999.
Yeah.
Mouth blood galore.
Anyway, yeah. Horrible Horror just turned to a wrestling podcast, so fuck Lifeforce. We're going to talk about wrestling from the 90s. Anyway, yeah, we're doing Lifeforce this week because a while back, Aaron, you came to me and said, hey, let's try to find some. You want to do some more sci-fi horror stuff.
And I think that's an overlooked genre of horror, at least from us. We've been kind of overlooking the science fiction, sci-fi angle of horror.
It's not so much I've been overlooking. It's just like it's hard to find stuff. I think that at least that's worth doing or that's fun to do. I mean, everybody knows Aliens and the whole Alien. Once you get past that, it's kind of like, in my mind, like what's left really.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the bulk of the sci-fi horror-esque side of it. And we've done a few kind of like what was the one I did with Chris? When
Jason X?
No,
that's
maybe, but that blends with a classic horror icon.
Was it Creepazoids?
Yes, Creepazoids was a sci-fi-esque type of horror movie set in the future. It was more of a monster, just because it was set in the future and it was still a monster, but it was still kind of sci-fi. Just because
it was the future,
exactly,
it made it sci-fi. Yeah.
That was the only thing that made it sci-fi was that it was in the future.
Yeah.
But this is a good sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah.
Or good, it falls in that classification.
Yeah, I think so, and that's when I forgot about this movie for a while. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, we should do Lifeforce. I know a lot of other people it's been covered before, but it's one that we should find. I've never seen it. It's like let's go ahead and do it.
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I heard it originally from the How Did This Get Made podcast with Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas and all that. They did it a few years ago, and that's how I first heard about it. I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it ourselves. And because I've never seen it either until I actually watched it. The movie was released on June 21st, 1985. You can find it. It's on Amazon Prime right now for free. I didn't look to see if there's anywhere else right now.
It's on Tubi,
maybe
Vudu, and I also have a Roku, and I think it's on what's called their Roku channel. Huh. So Roku has their own channel also. It plays commercials during. And that's the same.
So did Tubi, dude.
Yeah,
when I watched
yeah.
it, I was like, but I get it.
It's kind of funny you said, so do Tubi do.
Tubi do. It's written by Colin Wilson, who wrote the original novel this is based on, which I think is just called Space Vampires.
I thought it was a short story. Yeah, it's a short called Space Vampires.
I don't know. It was
could
short.
be a novel.
I thought it's a novel on the Well, IMDb said novel.
Regardless.
And then Dan O'Brien wrote the screenplay, directed by Mr. Toby Hooper himself. That surprised me.
Texas 2, baby.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre of fame. Yeah, Toby Hooper. The cast, we're only going to mention, I think, 4 people that I wrote down. First, our main girl, the Space Girl. That's all she's credited as. Space Girl is played by Matilda May. She's got 58 credits, mostly all French movies. She's a very foreign actress. But she was in the movie The Cry of the Owl and The Jackal, which was the Bruce Willis Hitman movie back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Which I remember the time when I really liked that movie for some reason. Huh. I don't remember anything about it now, but I liked it for some reason.
I haven't seen it. But I will have to say something about Miss May.
That she's fucking gorgeous.
Is that her titties deserve an Academy Award.
They do. Her titties may be the most perfect, natural-looking tits I've ever seen.
They are stupendous.
They are amazing.
Fantastic.
Yes. Good on you.
Woo.
Then we have Sir Percy Heselton, played by Aubrey Morris. This fucker's got 156 credits, dating back to 1948, all the way up to his death in 2015. He was in Clockwork Orange, where he played Deltoid. The original Wicker Man, Bordello of Blood with Angie Everhart and Dennis Miller. Tales from the Crypt and Blood from the Mummy's Tomb, which like a really old one back in the day. So he's been around the block. The main guy in this movie, Colonel Tom Carlson, is played by Steve Railsback. Weird last name. 88 credits, including Pam Anderson's Barbed Wire.
Huh.
He played Ed Gain in the Ed Gain movie.
Okay.
He was in American Pie Present the Book of Love, The Devil's Rejects, The Hitcher 2, and Alligator 2, The Mutation, amongst others.
In The Devil's Rejects, was he the sheriff?
I don't know. I didn't look up what part he played. I just was looking at what movies he was in. And then lastly, in a kind of a smaller surprise part I wasn't expecting, the all-time great Patrick fucking Stewart is in this movie.
Captain Picard, motherfucker.
Captain Picard, Professor X himself, is in this fucking movie as Dr. Armstrong. And holy shit, does he go out in this movie. He has some epic moments I can't wait to get to later on.
Yes, he does.
Whoo, I love the one scene of his in this movie. I can't wait to get to that one. But that's all I'm going to talk about for right now. Because Aaron, like I said, this is Aaron's sci-fi baby. He's going to take over, run the show. I'll be back for the odds and ends later. So here we go. Let's strap in. We're going to do our little countdown. We're blasting off into space with Lifeforce. So take it away, Aaron.
3, 2. The reason I did is because this is a 2-hour-long movie.
Yeah.
It's a long movie.
It is long. I should have probably said that at the top.
It is long in the tooth. So I condensed it pretty tight. So we're going to go through it. Excuse me.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
That's a good way to start things off on your show. This little burp.
I haven't had beer in like 2 weeks. Okay. All right. So we start off with Lifeforce. And
I'm sorry. Before you get rolling, speaking of beer, hand me the beer. Because I'm going to be sitting back this episode. I get to drink now. I get to take over your shoes and be the drunken asshole on here.
Hell yeah, man. That's the fun part.
Oh, here we go. 1, 2.
Blast off.
God, there we go. Blast off.
Blast off, because we open with the movie in space. And it's kind of cruising over this asteroid, and right off the bat we're hit with Henry Mancini, who did the music for this movie.
That's right, he did.
Henry Mancini did the music for this movie, and right off the bat we're hit with this music. The
music is pretty epic. I will say that.
This sounds like NFL films. It sounds exactly like NFL films, like Joe Montana on the gridiron, pass for 400 yards on that fateful foggy day in San Francisco. You see Jerry Rice catching the ball, in slow motion. That's exactly what it sounds like.
I never thought about that, but hearing you do it, yeah, I hear it now.
It's epic.
But it's still, regardless, the music is epic.
The music is epic. It's
really
just
good.
like, holy shit. All I want to do when I was watch old NFL films. So we're open up on there, and we come into the spacecraft of a joint crew on it's a British-American space shuttle, the Churchill. And the Churchill is exploring Halley's Comet. Yes. It's on a mission to,
the final frontier.
To research Halley's Comet. It comes by every 76 years, so it's a great opportunity for them to explore it. Okay. And while
For some, I was thinking it's a minor stupid point, but I was thinking, is it 76 or is it 82? I thought it was like.
I think it's like 76.
But whatever,
Pretty
yeah.
sure.
Basically, we'll call it 80.
Yeah.
Whatever, 80 years, 76,
so,
80 years.
And while they're exploring it, they're like, holy crap, there's a spaceship there. Yeah. And this spaceship is 150 miles long and 2 miles tall or wide or whatever.
Something like that.
So it's long and skinny, much like my wiener.
You beat me. I thought I said the same thing. I was hoping to Aaron, please, Aaron, make a wiener joke. Please make a wiener joke. And you made a wiener joke.
Don't worry, baby. I got you. So I thought this was kind of interesting too. They found this inside the coma of the comet, and I wanted to know what the coma was.
You did an educational moment too.
Do you have the information on the coma?
I do not.
Because I don't.
Oh, shit. I thought you let me. I thought people were like, oh, Aaron's going to do an educational moment. No.
Nope. But anyway, they're like, holy shit, there's a space structure there. Let's go check it out.
Based on what I'm thinking, based on what we see in the movie, it's got to be like the tail. That's a fancy, probably scientific name for like the tail.
Tail or the afterlight, the glow.
The glow.
Yeah. So we meet Captain Carlson here.
Which is green, by the way. Let's talk about that real quick. The comet in this movie is green.
Well,
now I've never been in space and seen a comet that close, but every time you see comets here, they're not green when you see them fly overhead. Now I don't know if there's something where the light passing through the atmosphere changes, but every time you see comets in like every other movie, they're like orange, yellow,
glowing orange. I kind of like the green.
It's green.
I like the green. I think it gives it kind of a goofy, creepy atmosphere.
It does get played to the science, like the more I guess, creepy scientific or sci-fi
kind of eeriness.
But it's just weird, like green.
I like
interesting choice.
So this is where we meet Captain Carlson, the American captain on the British American ship. They're like, oh, let's go check it out. Let's go see what's going on. They can't send back a message to Earth. Because they're like, hey, tell Houston what's going on. And they're like, we can't, sir, because space stuff. You know, I mean, they'd said something, but fuck it, it's space stuff. So there's 4 of them that go out, 3 guys and a girl. The only one that we care about is Colonel Carlson. They cruise on in. They find access to the ship pretty easily.
Remarkably easy.
They just go right into basically what's a birth canal.
Yeah, it's like it's right there. Barely like this thing has no airlock. You just fly right into it.
Go right. Just cruise right in. They're like, hey, there's an opening. Let's go in. No problem. And while they're going in, it's like a birth canal. It looks like it is. Yeah. It almost reminded me of Friday 5 when they had that like weird colon scene, or at least we talked about it being a colon when it was episode 100, Friday 5, or not?
Friday. That's when Nightmare on Elm Street. That
5.
was like Friday 5.
Nightmare 5.
Okay.
Nightmare 5. When they're going, So
now I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So they're cruising in. When they go in there, they discover hundreds of bat-like creatures. They're kind of they're some of them are kind of humanoidy with hands, and they're like, "Are you getting this? Are you seeing this?" They're reaching out, grabbing the hands. They're putrefied. They're rotted from within. But the bats, fucking bat and bat-like human creatures.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild.
Kind of look like Man-Bat from DC.
Yeah, or that like crossover, like when. Almost like in Monster Squad when Dracula gets shot and he's kind of like half man, half bat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All stud.
All stud.
While they're checking out the bats, this light, this door kind of opens, a light comes pouring out, and of course they're like, let's go check it out.
Of course.
Why not? So Colonel Carlson and his 3 stooges go off to go check out what's going on. They cruise through, and Carlson's the first one to come upon what looks like basic glass coffins.
Yes.
And within these glass coffins is 1 smoke show and 2 dudes. 2 dudes. Dudes, same thing. And that's where we find our
Space Girl.
Space Girl. This is where we meet Space Girl and her perfect tits.
Perfect.
Oh my god!
And this is where I started jerking off. This was jerk off number 1 for me in this movie.
And we get full frontal.
You get a lot. Oh yeah, you do.
You get full frontal on her. Now it's from a distance, so as Marshall so vividly described in our watch along, you don't get to see the lips and pubic hair. You really broke it down. Anyway, but there she is, looking great. Now, of course, she's full frontal, complete, and the guys. They're naked too, but just conveniently, there's shadows.
No wang though.
Sorry, ladies, and people who dig wangs. Sorry, not going to be for you. So, the crew decides to bring him back. They recover the 3 aliens, and they also bring back one of the bat people, or bat humanoid hybrids, whatever. They bring him back to the ship.
And the space bag, what they call it, or specimen bag.
Yeah.
Which is, I find they call it, use the word bag because it's just a net.
It's a net.
It's just, there's no bag. It's just a net that drape over this thing. It's like a fisherman's net.
Yeah. So, they bring him back and they say, hey, we're going to go ahead and bring these back to Earth. So, however, during their return journey, Mission Control loses contact with the Churchill, and it says 30 days later.
Yes.
So 30 days have gone by, and they know that the Churchill is coming back, but they can't communicate with it. They see that it's coming back. It's got a odd re-entry orbit. It's not quite going to make it. You know, it's pretty close. It's like they haven't adjusted. Why haven't they adjusted? They can't communicate with them, and they're like, and they just kind of look at each other and go, Columbia. So that's when they send the rocket ship Columbia up to intercept the Churchill, to dock with it and find out what's going on. Send a rescue mission, basically. And during these space shots, when they're in space shot and the Columbia is going to intercept the Churchill, a lot of these shots are like upside down or spinning slowly.
Oh yeah, I mean that's your 80s sci-fi. It's like how do we make it's like sci-fi 101 basically.
Right.
If you want to make something sci-fi, just give it weird camera angles.
How
upside down.
How are we gonna make this? Everyone know they're in space. It's like spin around the. I'm getting nauseous almost. I'm just like, oh, don't watch this with The Hangover, guys. If you're watching this scene with The Hangover and you're just seeing all the spinning going on all over, and you're like, it's a little much to take on. So the rescuers from the Columbia enter the Churchill, and they see that it's been severely damaged. Fire has erupted all over the ship, and everybody's dead. The whole place is just destroyed from the inside from fire. And I gotta give them credit. I thought they had the bodies floating weightless in space. I thought they looked pretty fucking gross. Kind of scary. Kind of had a nice spooky, ooky atmosphere when they entered the gutted ship hollow. They did a great job, I thought, of like creating suspense.
Yeah, I will say for... Also, that's just, I didn't say this at the beginning there. This is a Canon film. And Canon is notorious for their low budget and their bad films and all that stuff. But I was surprised. I will say I was pleasantly surprised by this movie by the level of their special effects and like some of the makeup work. So especially for Canon, because when I see Canon, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be bad. But they stepped up their game a bit for this one. As far as the special effects and makeup go.
Like, didn't Canon do a lot of those really B-level Chuck Norris movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, with tons of explosions and just...
They also did the infamous, we'll say, Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren was Canon.
That had some good special effects in it, even though you saw the wires on a couple of the guys cruising on their space cruisers.
Yeah. But I was just surprised. I was...
They went all out.
I was impressed. I was not expecting the level of what we got.
They went out because it looks really good. I mean, it was pretty creepy looking,
especially for like 85. I mean, there's some scenes later that are like, oh, that looks so shitty, but by today's standards.
Yeah,
but, like, I'm trying to put myself in 1985. I'm like, yeah, that would be pretty solid. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
the members of the Columbia, they find the place has been destroyed by fire, dead bodies. They find the ship's black box, if you will, kind of their record tapes, take them with them. But, of course, they stumble across our 3 aliens. And they're just like, they're perfectly preserved still. Still in their glass coffins, untouched, unblemished, perfect condition. Whoa. And, of course, they're like, we're taking them with us. So, the aliens are taken to the European Space Research Center in London. This is where we meet Bukowski. And it sounds so close to Bukkake. Every time they're like, Bukowski, and I'm like...
Well, we got a new name for the rest of the show now. It's called Bukkake.
So, Bukkake, yeah. So, Bukkake's like, hey, let's find out what these creatures are. We're going to do an autopsy.
Is he... No, again, it's not him. Never mind, go on.
Okay. He's the guy with the... You'll find out who Bukowski is. Not Bukowski. Not... Fuck it. Bukkake.
Bukkake.
He's Bukkake now.
Bukkake.
So Bukkake, he says, hey, we're going to find out what these aliens are. We need to do an autopsy. They don't do an autopsy on male number 1. They don't do an autopsy on male number 2. It's definitely the perfect titties. Why would you want to do that?
Don't cut those titties up.
Why?
No.
Why? So they have her in a operating theater. but she's she's basically prepped and ready, but the team hasn't arrived. There's a security guard watching.
Yes.
The security guard's got a face mask on to breathe pure oxygen just in case there's a chance of contamination, which I thought was kind of funny because
space virus.
Exactly. There's cracks in the door though, and this girl is behind like 5 or 6 doors, going down, which is kind of funny. But the one guard, they just have one guard hanging out with probably the most significant discovery of mankind ever.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. Like, this is like the first time I can, like, as far as we know in this world, in this universe, that they have discovered alien life.
Brought it back to Earth.
And brought back to, and they're like, oh, let's put one
doofus.
One doofus on guard. Don't worry about it.
23, still got zits and boogers hanging out. And you're just like, ugh.
They don't even know. I don't even know if they really 100% think they're even dead, or just like they could be just being a coma.
Yeah, because they do have that conversation. Like, are they really dead? Are they alive? We don't know because they're aliens. But
one Joe Schmo, with the most significant milestone discovery of history.
And this Joe Schmo is watching the, like Marshall said, the most significant discovery of humankind ever. And boom, her eyes open up.
Yeah.
Pow. Eyes open up. The female alien awakens and looks over at the guard, and it is sexy.
It is super sexy.
My God. She stands up, and it's just, her boobs seem to get higher up. Like, they're gravity defying.
And this is jerk off number 2 right now.
Like, she is in space at all times. Her boobs are just floating perfectly.
Yeah. There's no gravity to weigh down those titties. That's a great. No one of those titties are perfect.
Space titties.
Space titties.
But she's giving the security guard the eye, kind of a come hither look, and he can't help himself.
Dude, can you blame him?
No.
I'd be like, yep, let's go. I'd been right there too.
She comes up to him, slowly takes off his mask, and just starts making out with him. Awkwardly.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about her is a banging body, but ooh, is she a sloppy kisser?
Yeah, I was going to say, the same thing because, like, I thought the same thing. Like, man, you are smoking hot, and like, you're French. Like, I thought you're supposed to want to invent French kissing, but damn, you look like you just like.
Right.
Like this, this looks like a 13, 14-year-old person trying to make out for the very first time.
The French are responsible for the invention of the tongue, basically.
For the makeout. And you're just like, what is going on here?
But she might have something else up her sleeve, though, because while she's making out with him, the lights go out, things start exploding.
This is where I got hooked on this movie. Like, when this happened, I was like, oh shit. I'm all in right now. I was like, this is insane.
Blue light starts flashing and spinning around in this kind of like orb as she's making out with him naked. Bukkake sees this on the on the monitor, and he's like, holy shit, she's awake and she's making out with the security guard. I want some.
And of course, it's Bukkake.
And he goes racing down the halls, opens up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors, 6 doors. We see him open all of them.
I was gonna say, like, they show the establishing shot, like the first one, like, okay, we see all these doors, but no, they show him opening every single, like that's kind of a waste. We get it, but
6 doors. He finally arrives at the door, and he sees the mangled, drained, mummified corpse.
Basically, yeah, it looks like he's been like just completely dehydrated, sucked of all. Like, he's just like, basically, yeah, like a mummy, like a corpse that had been like dead and decaying for like years now at this point.
Just sucked dry.
Yeah.
It's dark, he's looking at it, and all of a sudden we see Space Girl come up behind him, blue light filling the room, and she comes up to him and says, use my body. And Bukkake is smitten. He can't help himself, and he starts making out with her too.
Again, can't blame the guy.
Yeah.
You cannot blame him.
Can't blame him. So, yeah. So while they're making out, she basically books. She takes off because we get a cutscene to Dr. What's his fucking name? Falliner?
Yeah, this guy, there's some weird names in this movie. It's something like it's a weird F name.
That's another thing. Is that there's so many characters. Falada.
Yeah. Falada. There's a lot of characters, a lot of weird names.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're British. Like, Falada, why can't you just be like Joe Schmo, like Smith? Like, obviously maybe not Smith, but like, this is London. Like, you don't need that many weird ass names. Just give me some basic British names and be good with it,
Yeah.
Like, Falada, Bukkake, like, there's some weird ass shit to keep
So
track of.
Dr. Vlad is just going to be Dr. Vlad.
Vlad.
Just to kind of keep in spirit of vampires.
There we go.
Dr. Vlad sees this happening
or Flawed. How about Flawed?
Flawed, sure.
Flawed.
Dr. Flawed sees this going on. He brings a security team with him to stop this makeout sesh. Captain Cockblock's coming on. He's going to interrupt Bukkake and Space Girl making out. But when they arrive, she's gone. She's long gone. And Bukkake is just, he's panting. He's like, oh my God. He's like shaking. He's freaking out. They're like, where'd she go? Where'd she go? It's like, don't worry. She won't be able to escape this place.
Yep.
This place has got tight security. You know what their tight security consists of? A fucking old man and 2 doofuses who eat cookies.
And glass windows.
They radio into security and they say, be on the lookout for a naked girl wandering. Don't let her leave the premises. As she walks by this old man who's like, my word, crikey.
This dude, I know, this is supposed to be like a government facility. Again, when the first Joe Schmo who gets killed, he's like a military guy.
He's young, yeah.
But you see, like, a lot of times you see, like, people in, like, army, BDUs, camouflage uniforms, the berets, fatigues. And, like, okay, this is military guards. That's who should be guarding this desk right now.
Right.
Basically, now we basically get the equivalent of a mall security guard.
Yes.
Like the old man mall security guard.
The old guy, like, opening the thermos.
Yeah.
Like, pouring on some tea. He's got some biscuits.
Yeah, this guy is like, when there's no way this kid would be the guy that'd be guarding, like, a high priority, like, top secret
Space Girl
place.
walks right past him. She walks up to the 2 younger security guards, still real doofuses. And they're getting the call in saying, don't let her leave, don't let her leave. And they're like, hello, love. Come on now. Hey, have a piece of biscuit. And they're like offering her a half-eaten cookie. And she's like, bitch, please, I ain't having none of that. Because she decides to turn on that blue light and force chokes. Basically, Star Wars force chokes one of the security guards.
Love it.
Starts choking him.
Love it.
He falls to the ground. The other security guard approaches her. Nah, bitch. Zap! A generic zap. I don't know how else to describe it. There's just a flash of light. He goes, ah! And falls on the ground. Old man security guard,
Still
smart enough. And he's like, fuck that. I'm not touching her. Her hot naked ass walks up to the security glass in the front.
Oh, I love
all
it.
glass
Again,
windows.
I love this so much.
And she's just staring at it, and then, I don't know, almost like Bewitched, just wiggles her nose a little, and then gaboom, gaboom, gaboom. All the glass just shatters, shooting out.
Yeah, it just
shoots out, and she slowly and sexily walks right out the door, not a care in the fucking world.
She's looking like John McClane in the glass, too, man. She's barefoot across that glass.
She ain't give no fucks.
No fucks. And I, again, loved it. I'm so in at this point. Like, this is a great little bit of a slow start, but it's fine because it builds up. You're building up the character, the mystique, what's going on, and then this scene, like the start to finish, once she gets up off that table, the makeout, the blue lighting, then from here to the glass blowing up and her just walking away. Like, I am all in. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
I do find this funny because Dr. Flawed does run up and he sees her walking away in the distance and he goes, well, she's out of sight. We have no idea where she's at.
He does. I'm like, he totally says that. He's like, the first shot is like, he looks out, you don't see her. And then he cuts back to him, he says his line, and then cuts back to her, and you clearly see her, like, walking, like, right in front of him. Like, he's like, oh, she's gone. Nothing we can do.
She's gone. All points bulleted. It's like, asshole, she's right there.
There's her perfect ass right there, walking away.
How can you miss that?
Yeah. Like, her perfect ass is gleaming in the moonlight.
Right.
It's perfect. Like, dude.
So basically a team descends on the broken security facility. They're like, oh man, more military guys show up. This is where we meet Colonel Kane.
Yes, that's what I was saying. From the SAS.
Yes.
The Special Air Service.
SAS.
Colonel
Kane from SAS is
here.
So Colonel Kane from SAS is here. And he is in the house, and he's rocking a powerful turtleneck.
Yes, he does. He has a commanding turtleneck.
And he's got different turtlenecks throughout this show. And he's got, it's all just powerful turtleneck sweaters.
You always hear about, you always hear in politics, the power tie, the power suit. Fuck that in Britain, man. It is the power turtleneck.
It is the power turtleneck. So he comes in, he's kind of running the show. You can see he's kind of the boss of this group, and he starts grilling Bukkake about the girl and his interaction with her. Bukaki's basically like, he's still shaking. He can barely answer questions.
Yeah.
He's like smoking a cigarette, his hand shaking. And basically he describes it as he was overwhelmed with such love, lust, compassion, sexual desire of nothing he's felt before. I felt powerless. I couldn't control myself. And now that she's gone, he feels scared that he lost so much of his rationality and he just couldn't help himself.
Yes.
So that's kind of how, she overcame everyone, is she's, super sexy.
And I want to say here, at this point, with the guy Bukaki, who's in this scene delivering those lines, like, does a solid job. Like, again, for, like, canon level movies aren't, again, they're low budget, they're almost B level movies for the most part. Maybe we'll call it a B plus. But the acting in this is honestly pretty decent. There's not a whole lot, like, because this scene right here with him doing it could have been gone horribly the other way. Like, any other back could have it could have gone from actually intense, like, oh, like, I'm actually into it, like, I meant, like, to, like, okay, laughably over the top. And it could have been. There's some good stuff in this movie. I was very surprised by it. He delivers it very, very well.
Completely agree. So Bukaki, he's like, I can't. I have to go lie down, man. And they're like, okay, go chill out. Dr. Flood and Colonel Kane hang out, and they start talking about the Lifeforce and his theory about how these beings are here to drain the Lifeforce, because they're talking about the security guard who was drained.
Yes. And
it goes on for a while.
It does go.
Again, well acted, but very well acted, long.
Very done. But yeah, it's a 2-hour movie, and a lot of these scenes in this middle section are like really drawn out. But I want to talk about this Lifeforce for a quick second, because this is one thing about the movie that I did think kind of came out of left field. You're like, okay, they've had this spaceship, for like maybe a day or so. We don't really know how long she's been there, but it hasn't been very long.
No.
And he's always like, oh, he's coming up with this theory, like, just like,
boom.
What? Like, he's talking like this, something like this has been like his life work. Like, somebody's like been saying this for years, and this has been my theory for, forever. Yeah. And it's like he just comes off this shit like on the fly. It seems like what is going on with it? It just seemed too like it's like written for a movie. Like it seemed too instant. Like this is exactly what it is. Like,
his hypothesis.
How the fuck would you get to that so quickly?
It's too on the nose.
Yeah, on the nose. In fact, that he's seen basically once.
Right.
He saw the corpse, the drained body one time, and he's already like, oh, this is what it is. I know exactly. It's like, no. It's like there's been no precedent in this world, in the history of mankind up until now, for this to be a thing.
Right. The only thing, this is after watching it 3 times, because the first 2 times I watched, I'm like, fuck, yeah, I was right there with you. Third time, and it's probably just because I watched it for a third, I'm like, oh, he's smart. So, well, maybe he's, maybe.
Sorry, I almost split my barrel on that, because he's smart. So that's why. Like, what, Aaron?
Just breaking it down. And I was thinking maybe because he's at this, it's the International Space Station located in London. So he's probably the best and the brightest of the world, essentially. He, the top scientists, So that's me grasping at straws.
I know, but still, like, normally when you look at scientists and special scientists, normally, like, that means that just makes it even weirder for me, because, like, you always have, like, your top physicist, your top nuclear fusion guy, your top, like, department, like, everybody has, like, their top, their especially in their interesting, their one field, if that makes sense, and, like, so who's on the phone like, oh, get me Dr. Flood, because he's the top expert in Lifeforce draining. Like, who said? Like, how would he even come to that? That makes it even weirder to me to think about that. Like, why would he be there?
He studies Lifeforce.
That's a thing now. Like, we need that.
So they talk about their Lifeforce theory for a while. Yeah. So then we cut to the male vampires, the male aliens, the space males.
Sexy guys,
the spaceman,
silent and sexy,
dude. They're dime pieces too,
dude. They are like, dude. If this is the thing I'm thinking about a game where they come alive and they start walking down the hallway, wherever, like, and they get close with the friends, like, I'm not gay, but this was jerk off number 3.
Yeah, square.
But damn, these guys are some
square jaws, blue eyes, perfect hair,
dude. These would be like Hitler's
6-packs,
Yeah, like this would be like. Hitler's wet dream almost. Yeah,
dime pieces. Yeah.
They are like holy fuck.
Couple 1-2 cutie pies.
Some silent sexies, man.
Yes.
Silent sexies.
Silent and sexy. So we cut to our silent, sexy space boys. And they up the security.
I don't know. That's just really Space Boys. It sounds like a perfect name for like a gay porn. Space Boy.
I'm sure it has been done.
It probably has been.
Probably based off this movie.
So the Lifeforce porn parody. Oh god.
So they up the security. They up the security after one of these space aliens has, rendered the security team helpless and escaped. They decide to beef up security by
just one
extra guard. So there's two dumbasses,
just one
guarding the two space aliens. One of which just escaped their facility. We need to increase security. All right, go get Jim.
Get one dude.
So they're kind of jaw-jacking. They're just like, this creeps me out. I think they're fucking dead. I don't know why we're guarding him. When all of a sudden, mid-sentence, boom! Explosion, bam! It knocks the two security guards over.
Didn't love it.
That's when our space boys stand up, our 1-2 cutie pies, strong, silent, sexy, just staring down the security guards. They start walking towards them slowly, going through that series of doors that we talked about earlier. But the security guards aren't fucking around, and they open fire.
Yes, they unload on these guys.
They are unloading with automatic weapons right into their chest. And it would, again,
yeah, thank you. I'm glad you played. Great. Because, again, this had the potential to look horrible, because it's not like, if they're wearing clothes, you can just do plain squibs and be fine. But they're naked.
Right.
So you have to do these bullet holes on flesh, on their chest. And it could have looked horrible, because I was specifically watching, like, I want to see how these look. And I'm like,
yeah.
Nope, look great. I'm like, I got no complaints. It looked wonderful.
I wonder if they were getting shot with paintballs or something like a paintball.
That would hurt so bad, Barry,
because you can see them walking through, and they're kind of wincing as they're getting hit.
And it's just like, and this is before CGI, and certainly if it was CGI, it would have been terrible CGI in 1985.
This is all practical.
Whatever they did looked amazing.
It looked really good.
For this. It looked so good.
It looked really good.
Yeah.
And they're walking through this gunfire, walking straight at them. They seem unfazed, except for the occasional wince. And the security guard's like, fuck it. You know what works? Fucking grenades.
Grenades inside the high-tech space laboratory government building. Let's throw a couple grenades in there.
Fire in the hole. Ba-boom. This gets the attention of Colonel Kane and Dr.
I would
Vlad.
hope so. A couple grenades going off inside a building, which should get the attention of everybody.
Right.
The building would be shaking. Like it, but at the same time, fucking loved it, man. I loved it.
I love it.
Throw that fucking grenade in there, you asshole. Just throw that
love
shit.
it. And they come running down. The place is destroyed. Our sexy, strong, silent space boys are dead. They're gone. And they just, and this is where they're so fucking British. Colonel Kane and Dr. Vlad run down there. It's like, well, looks like they're not going to be causing any more trouble. Oh, I guess we'll have to, no more autopsy for us. Good day, chip, cheerio.
Let's go have our tea. I can't do British accent, but like, let's go have our tea now.
They're so calm and like dry humor, little like one-liners back and forth. Just dry. And it's like, really?
Like, you had two guys just basically blow up your high-tech lab with grenades.
And you're like, your specimens.
And your historic specimens.
Aliens.
Are blown to bits, and you're like, oh, well, I guess they ain't going to be having their tea tonight.
Well, I guess the autopsies.
Like, what the fuck happened? Exactly. What's going on? It was like, oh, well.
Hold the Earl Grey for them, Charles. It's like, right, guys, come on.
I guess there'll be extra crumpets today.
They're so fucking British. So they decide to, they cut, just, this is right after the explosion. They just go, hey, want to do that autopsy on the other fucker? Sure. Just out of that, just like that. They go, hey, let's do the autopsy on the guy who,
the dehydrated one who died.
The dehydrated security guard.
Lifeforce sucked out.
Right, so.
And I gotta say, dude, I'm kind of been digging this, taking the back seat on episode, because I'm just getting to drink, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's nice once in a while to be on this side.
Yeah, you just finished it. I'm like halfway through. I'm like, hey.
Now you know how I feel every time when the roles reversed, I'm doing this, and you're just there pounding beers, getting drunk every episode, and I'm like, I get through maybe a beer, and you're like 4 or 5 in the hole.
It's true. So they decide to go do the autopsy of the sucked guard, and that's when shit gets weirder.
If it's not weird enough.
Because they walk in to do the autopsy again, he's mummified, body sucked in, and they're about to start the autopsy when he just springs up and starts going,
oh yeah, that's where we're at.
Crazy weird noises and such. It sounds like an animal giving birth, or like a buffalo dying, you know, after getting trampled by a pack of lions.
I kind of liked. I liked it.
It was definitely alien.
It's not even alien, but here's what I'm thinking, and maybe I'm giving it too much credit, but if this was a thought process, I have to give him credit for it, but I have no way of knowing. Mm-hmm. So the dude has basically been sucked. All like the moisture, all his life, everything's withered and died. So I'm thinking, if everything's shriveled up and dying, then maybe his vocal cord and his throat showed him dying, so he can't make the noises that you would normally hear.
Absolutely.
So everything inside is all riveted. So all the sounds he makes are that this weird distorted thing as well. Yeah. Which I'm like, if that's the case, bravo for them for thinking about that, because that's awesome.
Yeah. It's definitely weird noises.
But this is where, again, this is the one time where the effects look very, I won't say amateurish for a movie, but it shows it definitely, looking back in time, it shows its age.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
It looks very much like something you would see in a haunted house.
Animatronic,
very animatronic, like zombie, very zombie-esque. Like,
yes.
And his arms and limbs are very stiff because it's an animatronic thing, and
very little fluidity.
Yes. Yeah. So from my standpoint, it's very obvious, but again, put yourself in 1985 shoes, which I'm trying to do. I'm still like, it still looks pretty good especially for 1985. I'm trying to think like other like weird stuff I saw in 85, but like it's still, I would think for that time period would hold up and still be considered pretty damn good, and and even at that time kind of scary. Like you'd be like, holy shit! Like you got this, it's like, so again, canon coming through in this movie,
big time.
Really coming through. I gotta say, like, I'm very forgiving this, and I was impressed by a lot of, like, almost everything they did in this movie.
So this
special effect wise,
this impressive zombie thing is sitting up, going, "Rah!" He locks eyes with one of the pathologists.
Oh, this is so weird.
He locks eyes with one of the pathologists. They're freaked out. They're like up against the wall, going, "Oh!" They're freaked out. But he's looking at the pathologist. He's got his arms on. And starts going, "Oh!"
He's like, "Hug me!" He's come on, bring it in, guy.
It's almost like, "Give me a hug."
Yeah,
come on. And his eyes get bigger, and they almost give like sad puppy dog eyes. And he's looking at the pathologist, and the pathologist starts taking steps forward.
Yeah, I want to say, keep in mind, both these guys are dudes, by the way.
Yes.
It's not like the corpse on the table was a female corpse, like the hot vampire chick or space chick. This is a dude.
This is a dried up, crusty corpse.
Crusty up dude.
Yeah, and he's going, "Arr!" And the pathologist can't help himself. He starts walking over to this dried, crusty cracker and just plants one on him.
Yes!
And then all of a sudden they start making out.
That's why I'm so weird, because like, I give it's the girl attracted to the guy, but apparently these space vampires, they don't give a shit about sex or gender. They just like, and the dude's like, either he just happened, maybe he was a gay.
Maybe he's gay.
Maybe he is gay. But I was like, what?
But they never
two dudes.
They never explained that.
No.
But sure enough, the blue light effects come on, and he starts sucking the life force out of him. And
it's amazing.
The effect that they do of showing like he starts to become like human again.
Yeah.
He starts to basically
the pathologist starts shriveling up while the shriveled up guy starts becoming more human
back
again.
to his original form, and the effects are really good.
Really solid. Is this the? I'm sorry if I'm spoiling anything, but if I have the wrong scene, but is this the one where like the room, like it's like the spinning blue vortex above their head, like this blue energy, it's like swirling above them. It looks so good.
Yeah,
it's awesome looking.
It's really good looking, and sure enough,
but it's so weird because like two dudes, are like this guy like making out with like a fucking mummified corpse at this point. But then he's becoming the mummified is becoming healthy, and it looks insane.
But I just realized we'll come back to that. I think there's something to it.
Okay.
So, sure enough, security guard who was once a mummified corpse is now back to his original body, and the pathologist is a crusty old dick.
Yeah.
Just withered away, crustified, gone. And the security guard's like, what? He can't speak. He's freaking out. He
doesn't know what the fuck's
absolutely
happening.
Panicked. the security guards, Dr. Flood and Colonel Kane come running in with security team. They subdue him, and they're like, put him in a, secure him, put him in a...
I love that. Quarantine this guy.
Quarantine him, yeah.
I'm going to jump ahead here. I'm sorry, but if I'm skipping anything, we'll come back to it. But I love
where their quarantine is.
Yes. Remember, there's like a high-tech government building that's like they have labs and like what's the airlocks and all that, like sanitate, what, not sanitate, God, what's the fucking word I'm thinking of? Like not quarantine stuff, but like air pressure locks and like, it's
okay, yeah, I get you.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything's sterile and nice and high tech. They basically throw this guy in a fucking supply closet that's not even a real door. It's just like a shelving unit and like and like a big Rubbermaid bin and some storage, and then just like a fenced door, like a chicken wire door for the most part. Like that's their containment center for this guy? Really?
Put him in quarantine. Put him in the janitor's closet.
It's not like an airtight, hermetically sealed room. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking storage closet with a chain link fence door.
I love it.
Are you kidding me? That's the one thing I'm like, I lost my mind at. I was like, what? Everything has been up to this point has been so great. I'm like,
they just
fuck you.
Stick him.
Like they fucking in a basement storage,
stick him in the janitor's closet.
Yeah. And he's not the only one that's down there. There's like another schmo that's locked up in this, like, the next janitor closet over.
They quarantined him, and then they said, hey, it's been 2 hours. He basically was attacked 2 hours ago by Space Girl.
Yeah.
He reanimated 2 hours later. We need to quarantine that other pathologist, Dusty Body.
Is that the one that they put? We
need to quarantine him too, because in 2 hours he's probably going to come back to life.
Okay.
So that's when they quarantine both of them in janitor's closet.
I guess I missed the fact that the other guy was the pathologist. I thought it was just some other. That makes sense.
So they quarantine him. That's when Dr. Flood and Colonel Kane, the Brit boys, find out that another girl has been drained of their life force.
You were coming up with so many like gay porno something name, the Brit Boys, or like that's like a bad Hardy Boys ripoff or something. But
Brit Boys,
the Brit Boys.
So they get called and said, "Hey, there's a girl who fits the description of a drained. Looks like her life force has been drained out. Space Girl looks like she's struck." That's when we show that there's a girl who's been dried up.
Wait, didn't we? Is this? Am I skipping something? Am I forgetting? Because I thought, isn't that after the guys in the quarantine get all fucked up? Like, I don't want to spoil anything if I'm skipping that.
Oh,
but
you know what?
They something major happens to these guys in quarantine.
Yeah,
before I think they go to the.
Yeah,
girl.
You're right. But they get the call. They got the call right after they quarantine him and say, "Hey, there's, this girl's been, gotten." No, because they find out that they got the girl. They go out and they find the girl. She's all dried up and crusty looking too. They bring her back.
Yes,
they bring her back, and that's what they do. That's what it is. So they go out. They say, "Hey, there's been a girl that's been sucked up," and they go find her and they go, "Hey, that's not Space Girl. That's someone else." I'm like, "Uh-oh, Space Girl. She's naked." So they're like, "Space Girls." They go. It's so funny because I do like this scene. They look at each other and go, "She's got clothes." Son of a bitch.
She's gonna be hard to spot now. She's got clothes.
They put her. God damn it, those titties are covered.
Yeah.
She's got clothes. So they take that body and they return to mission control, to the space control.
Yeah,
that's when they go down and they check out on the quarantined guys again.
Okay, because I thought what was about to happen before they even went to the girl.
No,
in the park.
it's
okay.
They get the girl first, bring her back.
We're good. We're on track now.
And they brought along to show the government. Basically, it's one of the secretaries, one of the upper government guys. I just call him secretary. I don't know what his name is.
I don't know his name either.
So the secretary's there, and he's like, "What's this going on about this space person? And what's the emergency?" And they go, so Colonel Kane and Dr. Flood, take him down, and they show where the security guard and the MD, the pathologist is. This is where we show the security guard. He's freaking out in like that janitor's closet, like we were talking about, and he's freaking out. And they go, "It's been about 2 hours." So he came back to life. It's been 2 hours since he's come back to life, and he's freaking out. He runs at the gate, he's shaking, and he starts making those crazy weird noises again.
Yeah, he's screaming. He's in pain.
He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He collapses to the ground, and he's freaking out, and his skin just sucks in. He returns back to that original state
the mummified
body. It's so funny because Dr. Vlad's like, just as I suspected.
Again, who is this fucker? How is he coming up with this theory like right then and there?
And I love this. He goes, just as I suspected, he is no more. And he gets his science stick.
Which is a metal pole. It's a fucking metal pole he found lying on the floor.
No, Marshall, it's his science poking stick.
Science pokey stick.
And he pokes him open. His abdominal cavity collapses, and he's nothing but dust. So he's now officially...
He got Thanos.
Yes, he's officially dead.
Yes.
And they're like, and the secretary is like, holy shit. And they're like, hold on, there's more.
Like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's see
Check out behind door number 2.
Exactly. And they walk over and they show the pathologist who has been reanimated.
This one, I love.
Been reanimated and he's just a dusty corpse of a, he's the dusty corpse and he's screaming, making all kinds of noise, knocking shit over, going nuts. And he looks, once they come into like his view, he looks at him and just starts running as fast as he can, crashing into the metal bars and fucking explodes into dust and bones.
Loved it. I love that so much. Like, oh, that's so cool.
It's so
fucking awesome.
Intense. He's he just goes,
just poof, dust, and
all over him, and they're just like, oh my. These proper British lads are just like, oh, I have some in my mouth. They all get out handkerchiefs at the same time, like wiping everything off. God damn, is this movie bonkers?
I know it's fucking insane, but I loved it when he hit that fence and explodes in the dust. I was like, oh shit! I mean, fuck again. All in. Like, just all in. Take like all the chips in there, just going.
But it gets even better.
It gets better. Of course it does.
Because it does. Hold on, Doc. You haven't seen. You thought that was fucking crazy? Let's go to the girl who we just brought back.
Yeah, let's go to door number 3 now.
So they go to door number 3. Okay, so they have her hooked up to electrodes. They have her hooked up to monitors. They have her strapped to a gurney. So she's definitely going to be. Can you hear me? Turn my headphones up a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
So they have her like strapped down, and they're like, any minute now she'll be waking up. And of course, they're all 3 watching there, and she opens up her eyes, making crazy noises, trying to get up, convulsing. Now these guys are smartened up a little bit. No one's in the room, so she can't seduce anybody. And they're a couple doors back, and she starts freaking out. Beep, 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 beep. The monitor starts going crazy. Yep. Shit starts exploding. Everything blows up. She's still freaking out. And everything just goes quiet and dark. And she's still screaming. And kaboom! She just blows up.
Blows up like a fucking grenade was shoved up her, down her throat or something like that.
Just dust and bones and shit flying everywhere.
Bone, just dust. It's, like, it's amazing. It's
and
crazy.
They're just like, my word. Holy goddamn.
I will say the proportions on this girl were weird, though.
Yes.
Because you get there's a shot where it's like from the ceiling out, like a top-down one, and you look at her whole body, and like...
She was dried up.
From like mid-torso up, fine, but like then her waist, it's like a weird weird Barbie. Her waist is so small. What do you mean? Okay, she's dehydrated, she's all showed up decaying, but then her hips are gigantic. Like her hips look like she's wearing like one of those like old style pants that like their hips just like equestrian pants. Where
I didn't notice that so much. Really? I noticed that she had titties still.
She still had titties. Yeah,
that they should have been dried up and gone.
Yeah,
maybe. I was just like, huh.
Yeah, she still had titties, but no, like her waist is so tiny that she has these giant, weird, angular hips that were so weird to me. It's very distracting.
So the 3 Brit boys are standing there going, wow. And all of a sudden, sir, there's another telephone call. Okay. Takes another call, and sure enough, we find out that Colonel Carlson from the Churchill, from the original space mission, is back. He escaped in a pod, and he's crash landed. Where has he crash landed? Texas. And it's like, oh God,
no, Texas.
It just seemed like, get him out of there now.
Yeah, like, get him now. He can't be exposed to those people, to them Texans.
It just seems so like clutch their pearls.
They seem they are more distraught about the fact that Carlton is in Texas than watching these space vampire victims explode into dust. Like, fuck Texas, that's worse than anything we've just seen.
I know. It's so weird. They're like, get him here now. So they just cut right to it. Carlson, just next scene, Carlson's there in Texas.
Yep.
Clean shit. Like, they show him in the escape pod. They show him land in Texas. He's got a beard. He looks disheveled. He's exhausted. Yeah. It's been 30 plus days or something. But they show next scene. He's clean shaven in Texas in uniform, or pardon me, in London.
He's back in London, yeah,
in uniform. And that's when he basically describes. I'm not going to go over it again, but
No.
he describes the events of what happened on the Churchill.
Well, we'll do the fast, because again, this is where things start getting drawn out. Because like I said, it's a 2-hour movie, so some things that don't need to be as long as they are get drawn out. And this is one of those scenes. Basically, what happens is that he explains like, one of his crew member got basically hypnoptized or seduced by space chick,
girl,
and he kind of went crazy.
Broke
a bunch of equipment, and he was found dead. And then one by one, all the crew members started showing up dead. And then he decided, like, hey, I can't let this thing return to Earth. So he set fire to the Churchill and went out in an escape pod trying to kill off the alien space vampires so they couldn't make it back to Earth.
Exactly.
That's basically what it takes, like 20 minutes.
Exactly. So that's what happens.
Yeah.
Carlson then says, man, I'm fucking wiped out. Can I take a snooze?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, man, sure. We have a hospital bed in the next office. Go to bed. So he just goes to bed.
Yep.
So, but he doesn't just go to bed. This is where we get sexy time dream.
Sexy time. This again, fucking loved it.
Yeah, I didn't write down in detail here because I remember it pretty good.
Yeah, I do too.
So this is when Space Girl comes to him. And red light starts coming in, and it's like it's all of a sudden you're in this like Gothic cathedral kind of.
Yeah,
there's crosses and like old religious
wrought iron fences.
You're basically in a cathedral.
Yeah, you're an old ancient like cathedral.
Gothic cathedral. He's in a bed.
He's not even on a base. I think it's like an altar.
But it's Space Girl comes up. And they start. She's like, I want you. Use my body.
Okay, but first, like this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, go for it.
Because the way this starts, like this was like the one like kind of actual scare in the movie, because he's asleep and we shift and he wakes up in this cathedral on like an altar and there's all this red light and he's looking around and then like in this flash of red light you see like the crazy human bat hybrid. Like,
I must have missed that.
You missed that thing because it comes roaring out of the red light, like, Rah! And like this bat thing, and that's when like, I won't like I wasn't expecting that. I kind of jumped a bit because everything else there was like no scares of it. It's just really cool, and then the camera does a quick shift from seeing it come right at the camera to the behind, and as it comes from behind, those wings have suddenly morphed into space chicks like sheer like wrap she's wearing, like this piece of cloth.
That's
and
right.
Then, so Bat Chick's now become Space Chick, who's now on top of going, "You need me," or "I want you," or something like that. And that's where the dream picks up. The intense part is because she comes screaming out of this red light as this monster bat form, it's like holy shit! And then suddenly, boom, she's back to sexy Space Chick.
It's booty time. I mean, it's a long.
It is booty, bootylicious.
It is long tits, ass, and titties. I mean. It's a long, sexy time scene.
But again, horrible kissing.
Yeah.
Horrible kissing. That said, I would put up that horrible kissing, and I would still do that.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely. The kissing must have been pretty bad because Carlson does wake up covered in sweat, screaming, "Ah!"
Well, he's saying, like, you're I think it's just the point where he's like, "You're taking too much of me. You're taking too much," or something. Unless that's later, I'm not sure. But he's like feeling the drain.
He wakes up screaming, covered in sweat,
drenched in sweat.
The Brit boys run in and they're just like, "What's wrong? Oh my!" And he's like, he starts describing the dream, telling him what happened. And out of nowhere, Flawed goes, "Let me hypnotize you."
Yeah, exactly. Like the worst time. He's like, "Have you ever been hypnotized? Let's do it right now."
So like he's just talking. He's having this traumatic dream. Aliens are entering his mind, all that stuff, and he's like, "Hey man, you ever been hypnotized?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Well, mind if I try?"
You're about to be.
Yeah. So the next day, he goes ahead and he starts hypnotizing, and it becomes clear that Carlson possesses like a psychic link to the female alien.
Yeah, this is where again shit got weird. Yeah. The whole movie's weird, but this got even weirder.
So Carlson has a psychic connection, with Space Girl,
telepathic,
kind of like a loosely based telepathic connection to alien.
Space Chick.
So they show him basically track. He's like, where is she? Where is she at now? She looks different. She's in a new body. So you show her that she's in this new body and she's traveling across.
It looks like the British countryside.
It is.
It's the British countryside. She's out in the middle of nowhere. So, which made me wonder, like, how the fuck did she get to London out to, like, the boonies of England?
I don't
like, what?
I don't know. I've never been to London. I've never been, so I don't know if it's like, St. Louis is a major metropolitan city, but you can get to a cornfield pretty fucking fast. So I don't know. But anyway, I
don't know. She's like something from London out into like Wales now or something like that. It's like, what? Like, what? How'd you get there?
But she's out there.
I don't know that much of London.
And during the hypnosis scene, I mean, who knows? It could.
I just know Wales is like out. It's not by. It's somewhere out there, but there's more field. I think.
Yeah, but she's in a new body, and she's talking to a man. She's seducing this man, and she's now like on the road with this guy. He's able to find out the license plate number.
Too, by the way, it's not the. I don't know. It's a weird fashion choice. It looks like just a big poncho or garbage bag.
I don't know. It's like
Doesn't
a cloak. I don't know, like a shitty cloak.
Anyway, coming up is jerk off number 3 now. Basically,
she starts seducing this guy, and like lifting up her skirt.
Dude, and it's kind of hot. Man. It's like, oh shit.
And he's like reaching over, like putting his fingers into that crumpet, into
the crumpet.
And that's when Carlson jumps up and goes, ah! He freaks out again.
The curves and way or something.
So they're able to find out. They're saying that he was able to find out what the license plate was, and they're going to track the license plate and try and find out where Space Girl is.
Yeah.
So Carlson and Sass Colonel Kane, pardon me. They trace the alien. So basically, they find out that the alien's been at this. It's the body that she inhabited was a nurse named Ellen who works at a psychiatric hospital in Yorkshire.
Now, Yorkshire, not Wales.
I don't know where Yorkshire is in comparison to London, but I don't think it'd be that far away. So Kane and Carlson go to this hospital, this mental hospital for the criminally insane. They had to drop that nugget in there too. You notice that?
Yeah.
So, and this is where we meet Patrick Stewart. Dr. Armstrong is in the house. Carlson and Kane, they talk to Patrick Stewart and they say, "Hey, we need to talk to Ellen." And Patrick Stewart's like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." He's very accommodating, helps him out. And apparently, as a nurse, you can just live on the grounds. How convenient.
Apparently, yeah.
Because she lives there. And holy shit, is this scene get really weird too.
Yeah, this one is wow.
So Kane and Carlson knock on this woman's door. She answers it, and they're like, "Hey, we talked to Patrick Stewart. He said we can come in." She's like, "Okay." And she just lets him in, and he start talking. It's like, "Hey, who are you seducing today? Who are you making out with today?" You're looking at something up on your phone, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
"Who are you making out with today?" And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And that's when Carlson just up and slaps her. Wham!
Dude, it's like I was not ready for that.
No!
It's a fucking violent slap too.
He's like, "Where have you been today? Who have you been with today? Who are you?" She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Slap! And just starts slapping her around. He grabs her and he starts getting in her face. He's like, "You know what?" He's like, "You're a misogynist. You're a masochist."
Yeah, and he's still like, was it Kane or whoever?
He starts going, "You're a masochist." And he looks over at Kane, Colonel Kane. He goes, "This is going to get pretty ugly. If I need to get the information, she wants me to hurt her.
She wants me to hurt her. She wants me to hurt her."
He's so intense. And then he's like, "You might want to leave." And then Kane, cool as a fucking English cucumber.
Dude, it's.
Just goes, he's just like, "You might want to leave." He goes, "Not at all. I'm a natural voyeur."
Voyeur. I know. Like, wait, what is happening? What is about to happen here? This is insane.
I'm a natural voyeur. Doesn't change a beat.
Sits down on the couch, crosses
his legs, and kind of like puts his hand in his chin.
I'm waiting for him to pull out his pipe, or pour a glass of brandy.
Yes.
Like, all right, let's get going. Yeah. All right, let's get this going. All right.
You're totally right.
Let's get creepy.
And this gets so weird. He starts grabbing her, going, "Who is it? Where is she? Get out! pulling her hair, rips her clothes off, starts like shaking the shit out of her, and he's just yelling into her face, "Where is she? Where is she?" And just plants a kiss on her face, kissing just her so hard he pulls back and she faints.
Yes.
God damn, he's a good kisser. He just scoops her up, puts her in the bed, looks at Kane and goes, "I have a physical description." So just like that, now he fucking knows where what body Space Girl is in, because Space Girl is apparently hopping from body to body.
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm just according to this map of UK countries or counties, we'll call it.
Yeah.
London, as we know, is southern London, very down southern. Yorkshire is like almost up by Scotland. Like it's way fucking up north. So like, apparently I don't know what they got their fucking geography way fucking wrong on this one. There'd be like no way that they would. She got on the move. She go from London to Yorkshire on foot. I guess I don't know, but
she got on the move.
Yeah.
So Carlson and Kane come back down and go over to Patrick Stewart and say, "Yes, she was very helpful. So do you? If I ask you a description of one of your patients, would you be able to identify him?" And he says, "Okay, well, who is he?" He goes, "A fat man, gray hair, big birthmark on the side of his face." He goes, "Oh yes, that's Charles. That's Mr. Charles, the child killer." It's like, ooh, he's currently in solitary confinement. He's been naughty.
Naughty.
So Kane and Carlson want to question this guy, and they say, "Hey, we need to do some questioning. As part of protocol to help control them, they get a combination of morphine and pentothal ready, basically a sedative.
Yeah.
They have this big hypodermic
but isn't
needle.
it like a truth sedative? Because sodium pentothal is like the truth
sedative.
And more, it's basically a truth sedative.
Yeah, it's basically dope. It's like truth-telling dope.
Yeah, truth-telling dope. We're gonna dope you up.
So they get this.
Which is weird, because I'm sorry, but if you want somebody to tell the truth and you want to get information, why would you want to sedate them to the point where they basically just pass out? That kind of seems counterproductive.
The only thing I can think of is that they're not, so they'll be more relaxed. Because morphine is definitely like a painkiller and it relaxes you.
Yeah.
And so maybe if you're more relaxed,
you're more going to pass out and you're not going to get any information.
Maybe you spill the beans a little better. Anyway, I don't care.
I don't care.
They have this fat guy locked up. In comes Lamson, the assistant, who I love. I love that guy. The guy in the white coat. For some reason, I love that guy.
His hair was on point.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Dude, his
sharp.
Hair is
Dude, his outfit is sharp. Everything's clean.
Dude, his hair was so so much product and so much.
It looked like an action figure's hair.
Yeah, it looked plastic.
Yes.
That thing wasn't movable. It looked like maybe like one of those a Max Headroom. It almost looked like plastic robotic hair. It was holy shit.
Or from Dog Boy. Did you ever watch Dog Boy on Liquid Television?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, that was
I remember
crazy.
But I don't remember anything.
Dog Boy was weird because it was like a live action and they had animated backgrounds and they had these weird plastic hair and plastic their clothes were made of, but they were real actors.
Yeah,
but they were wearing like plastic ties and everything's they're wearing is plastic.
Yeah, and that's
really strange.
But that's what his hair looks like. I mean, it's looks like a G.I. Joe or something like that.
Anyway, they all go in to question this child killer, this fat child killer guy. And
who had a giant
huge
it looked like somebody just smeared a shoe polish right on his cheek. It's all right, that's fine.
That's one fuck of a birthmark. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So they're about to give the injection. Lamson has the syringe, and that's when Kane looks over, grabs the syringe, and honey dicks Picard and Patrick Stewart and jams it into his arm.
Dude, and this is fucking insane. I'm sorry. Oh my god.
And they inject Picard, and it goes
bonkers.
Pretty bonkers. So
love it.
Carlson has a waist lock on. He's bear hugging Picard, and Picard gets injected, and Picard just starts screaming.
The most
crazy,
epic screams ever. And again, you can tell Picard or Patrick Stewart, you can tell the good actors from the big, even by just their screams are Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ! I had to turn it down.
That's like a Shakespearean proper scream right there. Like it's like some people like you see in like the bad movies, people are screaming like, ah! Yeah. But he put like
fear
something into the scream. Like he dug down deep, and it is like
primal.
Academy Award-winning scream. It's insane.
Yeah, and I was watching this downstairs. My wife's upstairs. She's like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "It's Patrick Stewart, baby!"
And again, when you think Patrick Stewart, you think of Captain Picard. And I'm not going to say I've watched every episode of Star Trek Next Generation, so I can't verify this, or Professor X. But like, never in anything I've ever seen Patrick Stewart in ever has he done something like this, where he screamed like this.
There's a couple episodes of Star Trek. It's awesome.
Amazing.
He takes him.
I'm like, holy fuck.
See, not only that, he finally takes down Picard, and then Picard starts doing fucking breakdancing work and stuff.
He's like flopping around
like a fish out of water.
With this like 200-pound man on his back.
Carlson's on him, like doing like MMA holds, trying to keep him pinned. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then when the secretary goes, "This is madness," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, it is
madness!" Like it was like a Vince McMahon type. This is madness.
It's so awesome. They strap Picard to a wheelchair and take him to like a surgery, another surgical theater.
Because right before they do that, they say, I forget who it is, if it's which one it says it, but he's like, "There's your killer."
Yeah.
And at that point, I was very confused because like, what? Who? What?
Yeah.
Who is he supposed to kill?
I
thought the nurse was the killer. You just went and beat the shit out of. She was the one who killed the lady, right?
So
like I at this point I'm very lost as to who. I don't understand who Patrick Stewart is supposed to have killed.
Right.
I don't know what's going on here.
It's very confusing. So they take him to like an office to be confined and strapped down to a chair. They tell Lamson to go get more of this sodium pentothal morphine combo.
Not just one shot, but 3. He's like, 3?
Yeah.
You must be bloody insane. And they get the 3. I'll take responsibility. He's like, all right.
So they strap him down.
I cannot do British accents, by the way.
And they're trying to like talk. And Carlson, he's like, "I have connection." And he starts talking to Picard. He's saying, "Where is he? Where is she? Where is she? Is she inside of you?" And you can tell, Patrick Stewart is just kind of like, she's here. She's inside of me. It's like, let her talk. And all of a sudden, Lamson opens the door and goes, "I have the pentothal." And he's holding on a tray.
It's like Shakespeare. Because they're all British, I guess. But he's like, "I have the pentothal." It's the grandest entrance for such a minor little thing.
That's why I love him. He just comes in. He's holding it like he's like a waiter. He's got some like extravagant dessert or something. "I have the pentothal."
Like the flaming dessert, whatever, something on fire. Like, oh.
And my thought is, man, he really wants to hang out with these guys. Because he's such a small character, and he's trying. And they're like, "Thank you, Lamson. That'll be all." And you can tell he's like, "Oh." It's so small, but it's so great.
Yeah, he looks so disappointed when he's like, "I have to leave." Like, oh. And I just want to say again, I mean, it's fucking Patrick Stewart, so of course he's getting nailed. But again, the acting is so much better in this movie than I thought it would be. Again, Patrick Stewart, of course it's going to be. But this scene where he's like being interrogated, like in his like morphine drug days, is so good. Like any other actor, or especially in a B movie or a lesser act, again, it could have gone so like poorly, so like over the top, or just so like, it's a delicate line for the type of this type of scene. And Patrick Stewart crushes it. Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
so good.
So he starts talking to. He gives him he's about to give him another injection of the sodium pentothal morphine. And that's when all of a sudden Picard starts speaking, and it's a female voice.
Yes.
And he's like, "There's no need for that." And he's speaking, but it's Space Girl. Space Girl speaking through him. And Carlson's like, "Fuck that," and gives him another dose. And basically Carlson starts interrogating Space Girl through Patrick Stewart, saying, "Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing here?" And we kind of get the breakdown of why the vampires are here. They're kind of saying, we are here because I love you, and the reason I look this way, we don't have bodies. Bodies are just what we adopt. You have pictured me as the perfect picture of female femininity. What's your idea of female femininity is? That's why I look like this. And all of a sudden, there's like flashes between Picard and her, and then you see her on the gurney, and then back to Picard. So it's like they're really trying to hammer home that she has encompassed his body.
Which, again, there's so much about this where I start getting really confused.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because
confused. They're
cutting between Picard and her, and Carlson's overacting, in my opinion, at this point.
Carlson doesn't. Yeah, he goes overboard on a lot of stuff.
So it's hard to pull the information out of this scene, but essentially what it is she kind of basically says, "I'm an alien being. I love you. We need to. We're trying to share. You know, we're sharing in your world. We adopted your language. We adopted what your idea of femininity is, and this is why I look so perfect."
But that's where I'm confused by. Because how she gets into Picard, we never see it. We don't know, or Patrick Stewart, and that's confusing enough.
Well, this comes up later.
But
there's
okay, but here's what I'm saying. Like, if she's saying we don't have bodies, and I'm just taking the form of what you're mentally projecting on us or me, or what you're on yourself,
your
or whatever.
idea of the perfect woman, basically.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because when we see them in the opening of the movie, they're man bats. They have a body. They're bat shaped. We see that in the dream, and then when we see her for the first time, she's already the naked woman in a glass coffin.
Yeah, and there's
she was that before Carlson ever saw her.
But
so I don't get this. That's where I get confused.
The only thing I can say is like when Carlson starts entering the spaceship, he says things like, "I feel like I've been here. I feel really good about this place. I feel energized." He says weird things like that. Yeah. So maybe there was already a connection happening there.
But still,
again, it's not clear.
It's not. It's so confusing. Like, I don't get it because if they don't have a body, they should have been something in a glass case, like a blob, a globe, an orb, energy, something. But they're her and the two sexy silence.
And who like.
Then who mentally projected two sexy naked dudes?
Yeah.
Like, why weren't they all female?
There is one female crew
but I don't
person
think she
that
ever
goes
entered
with
that room when they first go in. It's
all
dude.
four of them will go in there. But yeah, it's
but
just like
when the first person that goes in
is Carlson.
It's Carlson. So there's one. So why weren't all three of them hot naked chicks?
Right.
So like that's where I'm like, this is where I don't get it. Like I'm start losing.
Yeah.
I'm start losing it here. Like I don't know what's going on.
This is where you know what actually. At this point, this is where a lot of the story falls apart. Honestly,
yeah.
Going forward, there's gonna be parts you're gonna freak out over, even more coming up. I know. This is where the story really starts to fall apart. Yeah. Anyway, he starts yelling, "Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!"
This is the Batista. I swear, I think Batista watched this movie before he did the whole "Give me what I want" bit with Triple H, because that's the first thing I saw when he's like, "Let me go, let me go." And I'm thinking Batista says, "Give me what I want, give me what I want." It's the same thing.
Marshall going back into pro wrestling. Okay,
don't give me that.
I'm just at first I was really confused. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, pro wrestling. So,
but yeah, it's like I'm just thinking Batista just ranting like a madman. Give me what I want over and over again for 5 minutes, and that's what Carlson is doing, just saying, "Let me go." And he gets more and more insane. And then it goes on for like 2 or 3 minutes of him just ranting, let me go, over and over again.
Basically, Picard, or the woman speaking through Picard saying, we're in love, we're one. He's like, let me go. As he's saying this, he's getting closer and closer and closer. And then he's like, let me go. And plants one on Picard. And damn, he's a good kisser, because shit starts going crazy. It just starts going off the charts crazy.
Again, I lost it with the whole I don't have a buy thing, but now back on board. Yeah. Because it's insane.
So
fucking love it.
This room starts spinning. Like there's blue light spinning in a vortex, and furniture is flying around the room. Carlson's hanging on to Picard, shaking like he's being electrocuted. Picard's just chilling.
Yeah.
He's just laying there. Kane goes flying against the wall. The secretary goes flying against the wall. He fucking dies. He smashes against the wall and dies.
And he were just laying there unconscious. Picard just crushes it.
Just laying there.
But only as Patrick Stewart can. Fucking chilling like a just
shit's going nuts. Colonel Kane wakes up, runs over, grabs the 2 other vials of the sodium pentothal morphine, and like a fucking boss, double injects Picard in the neck, each side of the neck at the same time. It looked he was fucking cool as cucumber, man. I loved it. Shit dies down, everything falls down, and Carlson collapses to the floor. Lamson comes back in. He's like, "Can I hang out with you guys?" Lamson comes back in, and that's when Carlson starts freaking. He's like, "It's too late! It's too late!" Oh, it's like Kane's like, "What's going on? What are you talking about?" He goes, "It's too late. They've taken over London. They've taken it over." And it's like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, they're spreading. It's spreading. And
oh yeah,
that's. So here we are. We're going to the third act now. So after they, Carlson's freaking out saying, we're too late. He doesn't exactly explain what's going on. They get back into the helicopter and start flying back to London. While they're flying back to London, the helicopter pilot's like, "Hey, did you hear the BBC?" And they turn on the BBC and they're like, "It's absolutely pandemonium here in London. It hasn't been this much destruction since the Blitzkrieg." And they show like a quick shot of like London, and buildings are exploding.
Dude,
and thing is on fire.
Is insanity.
And that's just a taste. They just show things exploding and people running around.
And at this point, I just got to. Again, it's a 2-hour movie, and I'm like, we get to this point, I'm like, okay, it's got to be almost over. We got like 30 minutes left. There's like 30 minutes left of this chaos.
And that's just, they just start with that. They're still flying in the air. They're still flying in the helicopter. They show that really quick. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Shit's getting real right there. But then they cut away. I'm like, aw. Don't worry. We'll get back to it.
We're going back to that.
But they're flying in the helicopter. And there's like, "Sir, there's a call from Dr. Vlada." And Dr. Vlad calls him up. So Dr. Vlad calls up. This is a weird scene. Dr. Vlad calls up and says, he explains that the vampires can jump into other bodies and change their likeness.
Yes.
So, and it's the original 3 can only do that. So I guess that explains how sexy space girl jumped into Picard. But again, it just comes out of thin air.
Thin air, but again, and of course it's Vlad, the guy who's like
the guy
an expert in this, out for like one day. Like, how is it coming? Again, I can't stand this.
Yeah.
This is one thing about me I can't say. Is like, I hate this fucker who is saying, like, this is just bad, right? Like, hey, we need somebody to explain things out of nowhere. All right,
Dr. Vlad.
He just knows everything out of a whim.
Yeah.
He knows he's an expert.
Oh, it gets even worse.
I know.
It gets even worse because he says, "There was a male vampire who came to my door when he was studying. I managed to kill him. The only way you can kill them is to stab them in their energy center, not their heart.
Not the heart.
2 inches below the heart, in their energy center with a leaded iron weapon."
Which, by the way, at this point, he has there's like a giant crate on his desk. And he's pulling out this weird-ass looking sword.
Yeah.
But it's the weirdest look, like, unweldable sword I've ever seen. Like, there's no way this thing would be practical.
It's got a huge, long, thick wooden handle.
It's got to be... I don't even know. But the handle is so big. Like, it's so thick.
It's like it's a small tree trunk, basically.
Yeah, like, there's no way this thing would be actually usable or weldable. But he's pulling out of, like, this wooden box, which came from some museum, and it says something museum, and I can't read what's the name of the stories or what it's supposed to be.
I paused it and I looked at it. It doesn't say anything special. It just says it's from the London History Museum, and it says property of Captain Charles Dickens, who fucking knows, 1856.
Okay,
and it doesn't say what it is. What it's for. Yeah. It looks like a sword.
Kind of. That's the closest thing I get. Because at first, like, is that supposed to be a sword? Because it does. Again, no sword has a handle that fucking thick.
Unless you put your hand into it.
Like a gauntlet sword. But that's not it.
Don't know.
It's a weirdest looking
weird ass.
Thing. But he's just capable, like, how did he have the word, like, oh, I'm going to call up the museum, have him send me over this weird-ass sword, because I need that to kill a vampire.
Yeah,
like,
and he kind of talks to him.
What?
And he's like, "Carlson, you understand? You gotta stab him," because he starts, like, breaking it down, saying, they very well could be vampires, who knows, and it's old world stuff. So it kind of comes back, do you remember us talking about this before? When, I guess, ancient lore, they talked about iron and elements hurt, like Leprechaun
iron was.
So they kind of bring this back,
but now it's lead based or something like that, like lead.
Yeah, leaded iron weapon. So
What? Like,
and it's so funny though. Vlad keeps screaming, "Carlson, you understand? Carlson, Carlson, Carlson." He goes, "Yeah."
Like, I got it, Dad. Leave it alone. I got it.
Fucking American. Come on, Carlson. Get with the. Be like the Brits. Get with it. So Carlson.
But was Carlson actually American?
Yeah, Carlson's American.
Okay,
he's the one American.
I know he landed in Texas, but I didn't know if he was actually American.
He's the one American. Yeah.
Because I thought everybody. All right, never mind. It doesn't matter. But yeah, like I hate this. Like I'm falling off at this point. Like this stupid
this
thing.
Like I said, this is where the story really starts falling apart. So yes, there's more, Marshall.
But what we're coming up to, this scene on the helicopter that comes up.
Holy crap.
Again, it's a well, like, I'm falling off. I'm like, I fuck this.
We're
sword,
falling off.
I'm done. I'm out of it. But then what happens on the helicopter? Bam! I'm right back in because it's fucking bonkers.
You want to take it, baby? Go for it.
Okay, yes.
Because
I don't have notes on this, but oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I love this. It's insane. Okay, so we're on the helicopter, and the helicopter might be saying something.
They're transporting back the bodies of Picard and the dead secretary.
Is the secretary there?
The secretary's there too.
Yeah, there are two. Okay,
they're bringing them back to.
They're bringing them back. They're strapped down on like a cot or a gurney or something like that. And then, like after he gets done with the radio transmission with Flad and the stupid sword thing gets cut off, all of a sudden, fucking blood just starts like. Puking out of every orifice of Patrick's of Picard. Like it's coming out of his mouth, his eyes, his ears, and his nose. Like every opening in his head has blood flying out of it, and it's done in a way where it almost looks like it should be more in space than because it's like almost defying gravity.
It's like floating out.
It's like floating out instead of like
projectile bomb. It's like floating out.
It's more like
it's floating out fast.
And it's just like pouring out of his face, and then you see the other
secretary.
The secretary. It's coming out of his face, dude, and this blood is forming,
and it's combining in midair.
Yeah, in midair, defying gravity. It's like congealing together, and it starts to make the shape of a torso with tits
and titties.
With titties. So now we have blood titties,
and
they're perfect blood titties. So here's jerk off number 4.
I think we're up to number 5 here.
Number 5. All right. And it forms into this gelatinous blood version of hot space
girl.
A space chick who, again, CGI or special effects look great for the time. A little dated, but still look pretty awesome. She looks at Carlson. I think she says
Carlson.
And then everybody in this whole helicopter, rightfully so, looks. It's like they're like terrified. Like, what the fuck's happening? And rightfully so, because I would be too.
Yeah.
But then blood space chick just like explodes.
She screams.
She screams. And just explodes into blood, which just
crashes in like a puddle
on the helicopter floor, and it's amazing.
It's so crazy.
It's fucking the craziest thing. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. And again, I'm right back into this movie 100%.
I'm in.
I'm in again. Every time I get out, it pulls me right back in. Every time. It's like one of the best scenes in this movie. I'm like, holy fuck, is that crazy?
Oh my god.
And I don't even know if I could do it justice with what I said, but it's fucking amazing.
It's amazing.
Woo!
Oh man. So
I need another beer.
Madness. It's madness. So Carlson's freaking out.
Madness.
This is madness. Carlson's freaking out, rightfully so. Then Carlson suddenly confesses that it was him all along on the. He goes, "It was me, or maybe her." He like all of a sudden tossed a little blame on the Churchill originally, who let her loose and got everyone killed. It was his fault.
But one thing they say is that because we didn't touch on this at all, but they keep. I think it's turtleneck guy.
Yeah, Kane.
Sassy Pants.
Yes.
They keep asking about the black box or the records. And at one point, he's like, oh, they were destroyed. And others like, oh, no, they weren't destroyed. They were just locked on a key. Or no, we never. Yeah. There's always this mystery about what happened to the actual recordings of the black box. Yeah. But yeah, at this point,
he basically comes clean. He's
that
like,
whole 20-minute story you heard earlier, he's like, yeah, that didn't happen. She seduced me. I was under her spell. I did all this.
Yeah, I killed everyone. So.
Did he kill everyone, or did he?
He basically he caused them.
He caused something.
He didn't kill them physically. He basically caused them to.
Yeah, like he let her out or something.
Yeah, he let her out.
Basically, he says, "I'm the cause of all this."
They do another sexy makeout scene flashback with blue lightning and electricity going everywhere.
15-minute flashback scene
and makeout and titties looking great.
Looking great.
Man, jerk off number 6.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
basically,
we're just cruising over that though. They get a call saying, "Hey, we got to go. We're going to the Prime Minister. We need to tell him what's going on." So when they fly,
I'm just curious. You bring the Prime Minister. I know it's London, and you would think I'm not expecting it to become like a whole side plot, but you would think maybe just one line would say like somebody would say, "What about the Queen? Where's the Queen? We gotta somebody save the Queen."
No one.
They don't give a shit about the Queen in this one. The Queen's non-existent in this movie.
They don't give a damn.
Like, fuck the Queen.
While they're flying to the Prime Minister, they do another cut to London where shit is going crazy.
Even more bonkers.
There's zombie people running around.
Yes, that's what. Okay, the vampires have become more zombie. It looks more like a zombie. Because they're all like
they're starting to decay.
The decay and shrivel and mummify, which. Yeah, it's this vampire-esque, but it looks, visually, it looks more like a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. It's like fucking 28 days later.
Shit's exploding.
There's a zombie nun, I think, which I loved. And
there's so much shit going on. They just cut to that for about 5 minutes.
Dude,
and
London Bridge is on fire. Parliament fucking explodes. Because there's blue comets, like these blue things of energy flying through the sky, and you see one it zooms by. Okay, there's the street level is chaos. Like hundreds of people just screaming, killing each other, going absolutely nuts, and you see a streak of blue light and it's fly across the sky. It kind of loops back, does a U-turn, and I'm thinking it's just a ball of energy, no big deal.
Yeah.
No, it's like a fucking space missile because it comes in, hits Parliament, and Parliament just boom. There goes Parliament. It's gone.
It's fucking amazing.
It is awesome.
It's amazing.
And this chaos goes on and on
and they keep cutting to it. So they cut back to Carlson and Kane, who finally go to the Prime Minister, and they land on the Prime Minister, and it's just chaos in the office.
Yeah,
in the offices, everyone's running around. It's not Parliament, obviously. There's like some bunker. They're meeting the Prime Minister in a bunker or like a rooftop area. And, the helicopter lands, they go in, chaos, all these guys in military outfits running around, and the secretary, fucking cool as hell. She's like, "The Prime Minister will be with you shortly. Would you like some tea?" And seriously, that's what she says.
I know.
And Carlson goes, "We really need to talk to him right now." She goes, "I'm sure he's aware. It's urgent."
This thing, they has her shit together.
On it.
I love would you like some tea while you wait? The world is basically ending, falling apart outside. London is on fire. And she's like, "Nope."
What is that British saying? Keep calm and carry on?
Yeah, keep calm and carry on.
Dude, that's her to a fucking T.
Epitome of that.
Yes. Shit is literally exploding. People are eating each other. And she's like,
"Nope.
Prime Minister will be with you shortly.
You will
wait.
You
like some
you
tea?
will wait until he is ready for you.
Yeah.
Here's some tea.
Yeah.
Sit there and wait."
Poster boy. Poster girl. Whatever.
I love that girl.
I love her. Holy shit. The most British woman ever. Prime Minister comes out. He's all sweaty. He's like, hi. He's like shaking hands. He's got he looks like he's done 3 8 balls of coke. And he's just wound up. He's like, "Hi, how you doing? How you doing? Oh yeah, there's just crazy zombies going on. Oh boy. Hey, Miss Haverford. It's Miss Haverford." That's the secretary. Come here. He closes the door. He shoos them away. And they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he doesn't close the door all the way. They poke their heads and he's like, "Miss Haverford." And he's behind a map and you can see their silhouettes. And he starts making out, starts kissing Miss Haverford and blue light starts going off. So you can tell he's compromised, and that's when Kane and Carlson are like, "Nope." They're expressionless. They just look at each other and walk right out.
They don't try to save the girl. They don't try to kill the minister, the vomit. Fuck it, we're out of here.
And as they're walking out, some of the military people look all fucked up. A couple of them are coughing, and one falls over, "Get this man a gurney," and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here." Luckily, the helicopter guy's still there. They look at the helicopter. They kind of signal that they're going back up. They jump.
The whirly bird going.
They jump on the helicopter, and that's when the music kicks back on. 2 fucking zombies come running out.
Zombie
vampires as the helicopter's taking off, and they jump on the leg of the plane, the rail.
The landing
and
rail.
Holy shit.
I had flashbacks of a muck train. Yeah. There ain't no safety wires. There's just 2 Joes jumping onto a helicopter as it lifts off the top of the building.
I'm like, holy shit.
What the fuck?
One guy, you can tell, he's struggling to hold on. And I guess that was part of the plan, though.
Yeah.
He's struggling to hold on. He's trying to climb up. He's grabbing his own hands to kind of pull himself up. But the skin, the flesh in his hands rip off because he's decaying. And he falls to his death as his skin rips off. The other one's climbing up and about to get in. Kane looks at the copter and goes, you got any weapons on you? He's like, all we have is a flare. He grabs the flare gun. And as soon as the zombie pops up, boom! Shoots him with the flare in the chest. This huge burst of light. It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome. I love it. Again, I'm back in. I'm back in. I can't help it.
So cool. It's so cool.
But I just love the fact that they get a job of hiding. I'm sure there had to be something, but there's no safety looking equipment or safety wires on these guys that are hanging off a fucking helicopter as it's lifting off on top of a building.
It's fantastic. And the music's going, and it's just so intense. And they're like, get us the fuck out of here. They're about to fly out, and they're like, hey, we're getting a signal. If we're quarantined, if we fly out, it's been taken over by NATO. It's under martial law.
Yeah, they just say it's
and they're like, what the fuck? If
NATO? He's like, those fucking piss-ass. Fuck NATO. I was like, what do you have against NATO there, Kane?
Yeah, they're trying.
Or Sassy Pants.
They're like, we gotta get down. That's all Sass, Mr. Sass.
Sass is giving throwing some shade on NATO.
And they're like, as soon as they're like, no, get us out of here. We need to escape. It's like, if I leave the parameters, we're gonna get shot down.
Yeah.
So they set down. They talk to there's this military installation, kind of like a makeshift camp where they have barbed wire,
a checkpoint,
like a
checkpoint.
Like
forward operating base.
They're setting up the perimeter. They're like, no one can come in and out of London. We're gonna kill anyone who does. Your quarantine is like, we're not sick. We know exactly what's happening. We need to talk to the guy in charge. Finally, they convince the person who's in charge to talk to him. They kind of explain to him. They're like, so, what's going on with, what? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention while they're talking to the Prime Minister, like the spaceship, the 150-mile long spaceship is coming to Earth.
It's come back.
It's right in Earth's orbit.
But is this? I got confused by this too, because it seemed like this one was a different spaceship than the one that they originally got on.
It was the same one.
Because it looked different. They were in different shapes.
It opens. It opens an umbrella type of shape.
Okay,
it's supposed to be the same.
I really thought it was 2 different ones. This was like the rest of the space vampires coming to this was like the reserve. Like we're back up. Okay, we're coming here. Here we are to pick you guys up. While the original one was like, I don't know. Like maybe that was the one. Okay, here's what I thought. Okay, let's break down. This first spaceship where they find was like, okay, in the alien vampire world, that was like we have let's say the Enterprise out exploring.
So this is their little.
This was their Enterprise. They were out exploring new frontiers. All right, finding new planets to suck the life force out of or whatever. And they got derelict or whatever. They lost contact, and so they sent the distress signal beacon was going. Maybe the Churchill didn't know it. So they take them down, and then this is like the rescue party coming from the original ship coming. It's like, oh. Shit, we figured out what's going on, buddy. We're here now to rescue or to aid in your invasion of Earth. I thought it was 2 different ships.
It very well could be. All I know is that there's an alien ship above London.
Yeah, and that's what we need to know. That's all there is an alien ship above London.
Prime Minister, they learned that when they talked to the Prime Minister, super briefly.
Super brief.
And they mentioned, it's like, so they're saying, yeah, shit's going crazy in London. London's quarantined. Everybody tries. No one's in, no one's out. He goes, excuse me, sir. What about the alien ship above? He goes, oh, yes, that.
I will tell you over some tea and crumpets.
Let's second fucking fiddle. I mean, yeah, I know London's going crazy, but yeah, there's an alien spaceship above, and he's just like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just hanging out over London. Nothing related to this, I'm sure. I'm sure it has nothing to do with this. So Carlson and Kane.
I'm getting a bit drunk, by the way.
Yeah. Carlson and...
I'm sorry, guys. I know this is dragging on, but I'm having a blast.
I'm glad
right
you
now.
are.
I'm getting drunk and I am loving it.
This is a great movie to get drunk to. I'm telling you.
It is.
Carlson and Kane, they walk away. They're kind of they're on a hill and they're overlooking London. They see this giant beam of blue light shooting up into the air.
Yes.
This giant beam of blue light shooting up in the air. And Carlson says, "That's the souls. That's the life force of the people down there."
Every blue light or every one of those, because there's a sound being blue light, but then like in the light you see like these
balls.
orbs, these little balls going on,
orbs,
and it's like he says every blue light, but the whole thing's blue. But every orb is a human soul being sucked up into this to be, I guess, eaten or consumed by this alien force.
Yeah, so he's like, I've got to stop it. I've got to stop it. And she wants me to stop it. She wants me to come with her. And basically he's like, I'm going to go get some puss. And decides to go off on a booty call, an international booty call. And I think I just killed Marshall.
You did. I was like swallowing mid-swig of a beer. And I got to go to some puss and about to choke myself.
And all of a sudden, Kane's like, you can't do that. And he turns, and Carlson's gone.
Just gone.
You hear some gunshots, and then Kane runs up to this guy who's getting up off the ground, like holding his face. He's like, that Yankee plugged me. He took my car and he's gone. And it's like he's gone, and he's going to go shack up with Space Girl. And Kane's like, I can't let that happen. Captain Cockblock number 2. He decides, he's like, he ain't getting some of that ass without my intervention. Kane decides, he convinces everyone to let him leave. He takes a car, and he's like, I need a sidearm. Takes his car, takes a gun, heads into London. And that's when we see Carlson driving the shittiest, like, truck conversion van.
You would think like the military would have like better vehicles for him to steal.
And you can tell Carlson's never driven stick in his life because he's just killing the car. And he's driving into London, and like we said before, shit's going insane.
Yeah, like I said, we got glimpses of it here and there, but this
from
is
here
where
on out,
this is where you like they it's like you're fully in the insanity of that's going on in London right now. It's nuts.
It's madness. Shit's exploding. People we talked about before. It's going.
This is where it becomes
crazy.
from like sci-fi vampire to like a full like zombie outbreak movie.
And I have to say, honestly, this is probably one of the best representations of zombie urban apocalypse, like in an urban environment. It's absolutely incredible.
This, like you never see this like The Walking Dead. You never saw this like when like even in season 1 or 2 when they're in Atlanta, a giant metropolitan area, like this is the shit that you would have like you didn't see. Like this is what would have been happening in the early stages of that. You never see it in that show. I don't now Fear the Walking Dead. I don't really know. I don't follow as much. But like even like 28 Days Later, which is a great fucking zombie movie.
But it's like after everything happened.
But yes, like this is
it's happening right now.
I know. Like this one, like I forget we're dealing with actual like space life force sucking vampires because it's like a full on zombie apocalypse. This is what I'm thinking. And amazing. It's epic. It's the scale is nothing I've seen before in any other zombie movie. It's so small. Like, even like Day of the Dead. Okay, they're in there's a scene, there's a mall, but this is crazy off the hook.
As I'm watching this, I'm like, I can't believe I've never heard of this or never seen this.
I thought the same thing because it's through the roof epic of what's going on, and he's trying to drive through all this madness. And like I said, this is where I think this might be where you see like the zombie nun, which I loved. Yeah, and like there's people screaming and being tackled by the space vampires and people that are still human. It's insane. It
does a great job of creating confusion.
Yes, there's so much
because there's a lot of people who are alive and a lot of people who are zombies. And
every shot has so much going on that you can't even like. You have to watch it 3-4 times in a row, like because every time you would see something different because there's so much chaos happening in each shot.
And so Carlson's driving along. And he does this. He's driving to the cathedral where she is. He finds out she's in the cathedral. Space titties are sending up souls to be consumed. Okay. Yeah. So he's driving there, and every once in a while he'll just stop and take a dramatic pause and watch. And whenever he does that, he just gets swarmed by zombies. He's like, oh shit, oh no.
Like, why? I know. I thought, like, why are you stopping the pace? Like, I got taken the scenery here.
Yes! He does that once. He, like, stops and looks. He's like, oh, yeah. Then all of a sudden he gets swarmed. I'm like, okay, lesson learned. Don't do that again. And he does it 2 more fucking times.
Like the same thing. Like, you remember, like, okay, my girl and I, we took a year or two ago, we took a trip to the Smoky Mountains. We drove them out. And, like, you know, like, okay, let's stop here and get it's like, oh, this is so pretty. Let's take a stop and enjoy the scenery. And that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to stop and enjoy this
chaos
scenery, this bloodshed. But then he's like he doesn't expect he's gonna get attacked by these zombies. But when he does, he's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is I can't believe this is happening." Like, what? What do you expect? You stopped in the middle of a chaotic zombie mutant life sucking vampire outbreak. You didn't think you're gonna get attacked by these things? And he does it 3 times.
I know. He finally gets to the cathedral. He He gets out, and there's just piles of dead and dying bodies.
The visual of this, when he's inside this cathedral, and you see that
walking up,
you see at the altar or the precipice or whatever the head area of the cathedral was called. I forget the name, but you see the origin of the blue beam shooting straight out, and then he's at the very back of the door. And you see all the way down the aisle, all the pews. It's just hundreds and hundreds of dead bodies
and dying. Some of them are still twitching. And
it is a great shot. It's visually awesome to look at.
So he's in the cathedral. Then we cut to Kane, who is driven his car back to the European Space Station Center because that's where he thinks he's going. He's not sure that he doesn't know where else to go. And he meets up with Velada. Velada's there. And Velada starts breaking down some more vampire psychic mumbo jumbo. We're not going to get into it.
Please, thank you, because I can't handle this guy anymore. I can't handle him anymore.
And Velada's looking all fucking creepy, and he's like, there is life after death. And he's walking towards Kane, and Kane's like, don't come any fucking closer. Shoots Velada, and Velada's, obsessed with death now and talking about death, and he falls to his knees. Velada's face starts to bubble and boil.
Yeah,
and it looks really
so
good.
Weird.
And he goes, now I get to find out. It's my turn. He falls forward. Blue light erupts. When he falls forward, his ass is in the air, and blue light comes ripping out his ass like a hawk.
Like a blue fart.
Like a blue hawk ripping out the back of his ass. Just flies out with that orb. His soul has now left.
I thought this was weird because it made me question. Because this whole time he's in this secure building.
Yeah.
There's no chaos around him. There's not when Sassy Pants gets there. There's not the guard or the rest of the people are
everyone's gone.
Everybody's gone. He's just there chilling. So
he does say Bukkake died. He goes, "Where's Bukkake?" Bukkake's dead.
But I get that. But at this point, it's such a stark comparison because outside it's chaos. Everybody's dying, and here it's peaceful. It's quiet. So it gives you the impression it's safe here. So when he goes crazy and Sassy Pants shoots him, and he starts boiling his skin, bubbling. Yeah. I'm like, what? How long was he? When did he become
infected or whatever?
Yeah. When did he become a vampire? Because you never see it. And which means was he a vampire maybe this whole time? Is that how he knew all this shit was going on?
Who knows?
I don't know why.
The only thing I can assume is
I'm confused again. Now I'm wait, what? What's happening? Now I'm starting to lose it again. I'm like, I don't like this. I'm on board. I'm flying high, and now what the fuck are you doing, Lifeforce? Why is this happening? And then he's shooting blue shit out of his ass, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
So Velada's gone. Kane looks over, and when Velada.
But we've said it sometimes. The bubbling, boiling effect on his face looks great. Yeah. Looks great.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Give the movie credit.
I'll take
it.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden they cut back to they look pan over, and they remember Vlad did say that he killed one of the male vampires, and his body's there with the sword in his chest.
Yeah.
Kane rips out the sword. Kaboom! Big explosion. The body turns into a bat-like skeleton, and Kane has the sword now.
Oh God!
And Kane starts to leave. He can't get back to his car because there's a bunch of zombies, and for some reason his car's on fire now. Who fucking knows why? It just explodes and flips over.
Not only are they it's basically I don't know. I'm gonna pick on Boston because I hate Boston right now. But it's if Boston won won a championship, they're riding
set everything on fire.
Set everything on fire.
And so
when the Red Sox won the World Series. By the way, fuck you, Boston. Sorry.
Marl's getting nice and drunk now.
Yeah, I am getting real drunk.
Bring up sports references at the end of this movie. So
I'm sorry, Boston listeners. I just hate your sports teams and your Fuck you.
All right.
Sorry, I'm done.
Kane all of a sudden, like, he realizes he can't get on. But don't worry, Kane is also a fucking marathon runner.
Yeah, he is.
Because he goes running into London with a handgun in one hand and a sword.
And the whack-ass, weird-ass sword.
Weird-ass sword in the other.
This sword is something you would see in, like, a fucking video game. It's like a Dark Souls. No, not even Dark. Dark Souls had more realistic weapons. It's like a Final Fantasy... Kingdom Hearts weird ass sword that makes zero fucking sense in reality.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
So, he takes off on foot. We cut back to Space Girl. She's lying on the altar, transferring this energy to the spaceship.
Love this.
She starts to reveal to Carlson, and to Carlson's shock, she has fucking clothes on. God damn it.
Like the whole time. Why does she have clothes on now?
Yeah.
Like, why have all now?
Like,
really? No.
Now you're putting clothes on?
No.
But that's not the true shock. The true shock is that they're part of each other due to them sharing their life forces and thus have a psychic bond. So they're kind of one and the same.
Yeah, but we already kind of knew that from the whole Patrick Stewart in the hospital scene.
Yeah, but now he's hearing it from the horse.
I guess from the source.
Yeah, straight from the source instead of through Patrick Stewart. But whatever. So he's like, oh, so he's.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Yeah.
Like, I was.
So
confused
they're connected. They're connected.
I guess was it. The first time I watched this, I was confused because she says you're one of us.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Is he a space vampire with amnesia or something now? Does he not know? Like, when you say you're one, like, I got really confused. I won't lie, I got really confused. Or was it more metaphoric? Hey, you're one of us now because we shared a symbol and now you're one of us. But I was like. So but he's not sucking the life force out of anybody. So how is he really one of them?
They have a bond.
Yeah, but
so they're basically
say we have a bond. We're connected. That makes more sense than you're one of us. Because one of us makes them sound like a space vampire.
She does say that they share a life force. So their life force is shared.
But that's so different than saying you're one of us.
Fair enough. So,
Aaron's getting pissed off at me. I can tell.
I'm just like, we're getting the good stuff here, baby.
But now you know how I feel during the 9662 Jello Shot incident.
Yeah.
This is revenge for that.
That was bad. So Kane is running through this. Pardon me. Yeah, Kane is running through the streets like a fucking champ, just jogging through as cars are speeding past him. People are hanging out the doors, crashing into like double-decker buses. Shit's exploding. There's a mob of zombies that are running at him. He starts to run away from him. He stops and looks one way, looks the other. Holy shit, there's another mob. Those mobs combine. Yes. They're chasing him down a narrow alley.
Uber mob now.
It's just a ton, and they look fucking terrifying. And they're hot on his heels.
They are.
And he can tell. He's starting to get panicked.
It's a great scene.
Yeah, you can tell because he's cool for a while, and then all of a sudden you can tell he's like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah, Sassy Pants is finally starting to be like,
finally starting to crack.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, luckily, the burnt building kind of collapses, and it looks great.
It does.
It collapses in the alley, and it stops the horde from getting to him. He kind of takes a breath, but he can't wait too long because all of a sudden a zombie appears behind him. Rah, turns around, headshot, boom, right in the back of the head. Looks fucking fantastic. He starts hoofing it. He gets to the cathedral.
Yes,
he's
that's
right
what I want to
there.
talk about. I want to talk about this because at the gate, the doors of this cathedral is like a pile of bodies.
Pile of bodies.
Again,
a huge pile of bodies, dead and dying, just massive. He starts to run up there. All of a sudden, a big blue orb comes flying in, stops at the gate, materializes, and it's the other male vampire who's alive.
Silent Sexy.
Silent Sexy's back.
That's what I want to ask. Like, because is it the same? It's one of those two, right?
Yeah.
The original.
Well, one was killed by Vlad. Dr. Vlad.
Is that who he killed?
Yeah, Dr. Vlad killed one of them.
Because I thought he killed some random dude.
It was one of the male vampires.
Okay.
Dr. Vlad killed him,
but
and now the
we're
second
talking about
one.
The ones who were blown up by grenades.
Yes, and now he's back.
That's why I wanted to make sure we're talking about the same because I swore I thought it was the same guy. So that's why I was so excited. Like, fucking Silent Sexy's back.
Yes.
Standing on this mound of dead bodies in a blue light. It's an epic shot.
And he's got like a suit on.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. It's like with a tie and it's floating in the background. Kane like falls over. He's kind of scared. He looks over at him and he goes, "It'd be much less terrifying if you just come to me." This is what he says.
Silent Sexy says that.
Silent Sexy finally speaks. He says, "It'd be much less terrifying if you just come to me." And Kane, being sassy, goes,
"Sassy
That's
pants.
exactly what I'm going to do."
Yes.
And then runs up the stairs and stabs him in the energy center.
In the energy center source, yes.
Yeah, 2 inches below the heart.
Which, by the way, Silent Sexy deserved to die here because He had ample time to get out of the way.
It's
not like Sassy Pants was staying like directly in front of him, and he's like, "Oh shit, you got me."
I know.
Sassy Pants is on his back, on the ground,
after running through the streets of London, exhausted.
He's like at least 20, 30 feet away, at the bottom of stairs, by the way, and yet Science Sexy just stands there as Sassy Pants runs up the stairs with his sword and is like lets him stab him.
Now, to Silent Sexy's defense, while he's standing there, he's got his arms outstretched, and there's blue light just shooting out of his body all over the place. So I don't know if he's concentrating on that or not.
You have a point, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there was ample time for him to be like, oh shit, you know what? I'll shoot my blue energy out in a second. Let me move out of the way of this guy with a sword.
Sassy Pants runs up, stabs him. He starts screaming all kinds of crazy, just madness, screaming. There's a big explosion. All of a sudden it reveals this giant bat-like body.
Yes.
Looks at Kane and is like, "Rah!"
See, that's where I got confused again.
And Kane falls over, screaming, like, oh God!
Because Sassy Pants had never saw the bat body.
No, he just goes, oh my God!
But that's where I'm confused again. Because they said
bodies don't matter.
We don't have a body. But if that's their original form, then they have a body. So I
whatever.
don't know what's going on. Like, I'm so confused.
But then it explodes.
It explodes.
It fucking explodes.
That's all that matters. Again, I don't have time to really get mad because fucking more explosions. I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Back in. Kane runs up. Luckily, the magic sword didn't go flying off when it exploded.
Right.
It's right there.
Right there.
He picks it up, goes into the cathedral. And this is when things, it's calm. It's a little quieter, but there's blue light shooting up out of the floor. Yeah. And there's a hole in the floor, and Kane runs up and looks down, and what does he find? Now they're naked. Carlson and Space Girl getting it on.
Jerk off number 7.
Just standing up, mind you.
Which takes talent, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking making like have you ever tried to have sex standing up?
Yeah, but it's
not the easiest thing to do,
especially if your proportions aren't correct.
Yeah, you have to match up height wise or proportion.
You have to either squat down or pick someone up,
which is hard to your legs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
hard.
You got to train for that, baby.
I gotta say, man, porn stars. Them some athletes. I give mad props to those dudes, man. Anyway, but yeah, so it's sexy time down the hole.
Kane sees him getting after it. Space Girl, they're naked.
Get it.
And Kane starts his cock blocking ways.
Get it done.
Carlson!
Yeah,
Carlson!
This asshole! Like, dude, be a bro, man. Be a bro.
Let him finish.
Let the man finish. He is getting on with a super hot chick. Let him finish. But he's like, no. He's like, hey.
He's looking down in the hole. And he's trying to get into the beam of light, but he can't because the beam of light, I guess, is hot or burning.
Who knows?
He can't get in there. He's just like, he's trying to get down there. He starts yelling for Carlson. Carlson looks up, locks eyes with Kane. He's like, okay, I guess I gotta do what I gotta do.
Fuck you. Yeah. Fine.
Kane tosses down the enchanted sword.
The weird-ass sword.
Carlson catches it in one fluid motion, stabs through the back of sexy Space Girl.
While they're making out.
Through her body and through his own, piercing all the way through. So they're basically a human kebab.
Shish kebab.
Yes,
shish kebab.
Thank you. Hey, psychic connection there.
Yeah.
They start to scream. More shit explodes. Boof! They go flying up into the spaceship.
You do this to me all the time. You are speeding through this because let's talk. Dude, not only do they stab themselves, which I'm like, fine, but then they turn into like energy. They turn into like blue light and get sucked up into the beam of blue light into the spaceship, which is fucking insane. And then it gets even weirder. Not this movie is weird enough. But then they become human again?
Yeah.
Like they go from corporal bodies to energy. And then they suddenly sucked up thousands of miles into space. And then they reform
in the spaceship.
Back into their body.
Back into humping.
What? What? How is that fucking possible?
They didn't die.
Like, what? What's happening?
They get sucked up. The blue light stops.
What is happening in this movie?
The spaceship goes, all right, I guess we got enough.
We got enough now.
Later, the spaceship folds up, starts cruising off into space as blue lights tickle the outside of the spaceship, just lighting up all over the outside of the spaceship.
By the way, the spaceship looks like a space dick, by the way.
Oh, man, it looks so many different references. It looks like a rose. It looks like a dick. It looks like a turnip. It looks like so many weird
and a
different
blooming
things.
rose is a metaphor for a vagina, too, by the way.
And it floats off into space.
Following the comet, because the comet's still there.
Yes, it's going back.
How is that? It's been 30-something days at least.
You're right.
How is the comet still in orbit?
You're right.
The comet should be fucking gone.
Long gone.
But the comet's still there, and it just follows the comet
You're
away
totally
into
right.
space.
I forgot about that. But then they cut back to Kane, who just stands there in his sweet London fog jacket, staring at the sky. Blackout.
With his turtleneck.
Yeah, with his power turtleneck. Cue Henry Mancini. Roll credits. That's Lifeforce.
That's Lifeforce. Woo! I got way too drunk for this one. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I wasn't expecting to get this worked up.
No apology necessary, buddy.
Holy shit! All right, let's move on to favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
This is gonna be interesting because I don't know how you would very classify a favorite kill in this movie.
It's kind of deaths or, I mean, I guess people got killed in the chaos, but I'm not going to pick that.
No, the chaos, yeah.
I know what I got.
I have two in mind. I'm gonna have a hard time to pick between, but go ahead.
I kind of have two also. So the one I got to say, the first one.
I wonder if they're going to be the same here, but go on.
Is the pathologist, the shriveled zombie who comes running at the gate, smashes into it and explodes. Because that's the first time something like that happens. And I'm like, holy shit, that was awesome. And that just started the whole snowball, building and building,
right.
Getting crazier and crazier. And right when that happened, I'm like, damn, I'm in. I guess the second one, or honorable mention, would be, I guess Patrick Stewart died when all of his blood left his body and it formed into screaming, sweet, hot titty chick.
I didn't think about that, but I guess technically he would have
died.
He would have had to have died.
All of his blood left his body, formed sexy, blood-covered titty girl.
Yeah.
Screams and turns into a flood of blood. That's my honorable mention. But the first one, that's my favorite.
You know what? I didn't think about that. Because my off the top of my head, my first two was the very first Joe Schmo security guard who gets the very sucked up. Because that's the one that sets the pace. Like, holy shit, and they get the lights everywhere. Like, this is awesome. My number two was pathologist who hits that fence wall and turns into, because that's awesome. But when you said Patrick Stewart, like, I didn't think about that. Yeah. That's great, because, he would have died. He'd be dead. Yeah. There's no blood left. He'd be dead. And that's a great point. Mm-hmm. So, man, so then there's really three. And I'm torn. I really don't know if I could pick just one. I love the pathologist when he hits that fence wall and explodes in dust. It's amazing.
That's my favorite.
That's absolutely amazing. But Patrick Stewart, that epic blood coming out is so... And honestly, for a sci-fi horror, it's not like a jump scare, but if you were...
It's fucking creepy.
It's fucking creepy as shit, man.
Yeah,
like, that's scary to think... Like, to put yourself in that shit and you witness that happening, I'd be shitting my pants.
Yeah.
I might be jumping out that fucking helicopter, taking my chances.
Right.
Like, maybe I'll land in some water or something.
Yeah.
I'm not staying in here.
Right.
But... man, that's a good one. All right, I'll take. I'm still gonna take. I think I'm with you. I'm gonna stick with the pathologist exploding the dust when he hits the fence. Patrick Stewart is probably gonna be, and the very first suction energy guy are probably my close seconds. Those two tied. But I'm gonna take the same one you used. I'm gonna take the pathologist exploding the dust because that was an insane. Incredible effect too, because that, especially if you look like the special effects required to make that happen as opposed to the other two, are much more intensive and impressive. I'll say, especially for 1985 to make that happen, and as seamlessly as it did, because there wasn't like that clear moment, like, okay, where it, in a lot of movies where you see like, oh, here's the actor, okay, you can see the cut to where it went to the fake or whatever. It was pretty seamless and looked great. So I'll take the same one you did. I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Hey, that's cool.
All right, let's move on to odds and ends.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right, this is where I'm going to take back over. Aaron, you crushed it, by the way. That was awesome.
Thank you.
You did a great job. Ratings, IMDb, 6.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 58% on the thermometer with a 45% audience score. So pretty high scores for what we see on our show.
Yeah.
Amazon, 4 out of 5.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good. I'm skipping over plot keywords for time. Let's do some trivia. Matilda May had to learn her lines phonetically.
Phonetically, yeah.
Thank you, phonetically. I'm getting a little drunk. For her audition as Space Girl because she didn't know any English at the time of this movie. Also, May learned how to speak English during the 6 months she spent in England making this movie. So this was a good movie for her. She learned to speak English from this movie. So good for her. We talked about the John McClane scene where she walked through the broken glass.
Yes.
She had rubber soles glued to the bottom of her feet in order to so she wouldn't cut herself walking through the broken glass.
I'm glad they're looking out for her.
Yeah. Speaking as much as we ranted and raved about how great she is in this movie, she barely speaks, but how hot she is in this movie. She only has 7 minutes of screen time in this entire movie, which is 2 hours long.
Well, she definitely fucking steals the show.
She's a fucking smoke show who's naked the entire time. Of course she did. But 7 minutes of a 2-hour movie where she's basically she is the main protagonist or antagonist. She's only in for 7 minutes. Toby Hooper came up with the idea using Halley's Comet in the screenplay rather than an asteroid belt as originally used in the novel, as the comet was going to pass by Earth following
in 1986.
86, yeah. So
I actually remember seeing that when I was a kid.
I did too. My parents woke me up at midnight. It's like, hey, it's coming. They came in and woke me up and we're going to see the comet. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And we went out and I saw the comet.
I remember seeing it, yeah.
I was very, very grateful for my parents for doing that for me. So thank you, Mom and Dad, if you ever listen to this, which I'm sure you won't. The filmmakers briefly considered waxing Matilda May in order to make her appear less nude, which is weird because that would make her more nude. I guess they maybe put a wax coat over her whole body. When I said wax, I'm thinking you're going to rip off the pubic hair, which would make her more nude. But the idea was ultimately rejected because it actually had the opposite effect and made her look like more nude, which is weird. It's a really weird thing. Anyway, so Sir Patrick Stewart, this is his first on-screen kiss with a dude! His first on-screen kiss was with a dude in this movie.
On-screen kiss. This is a guy who's got a storied career on television and movies.
And not just movies, but like
theater.
Shakespeare. Yeah. He's an accomplished Shakespearean actor. His first on-screen kiss was this movie with a fucking dude.
And that just shows you how much of a professional he is.
Yes, he is. I remember a year ago or so, I'm sorry, we're going to go off my tangent, but I remember you and I were sitting at a bar, I think it was 7, and I remember, I brought it up, I was like, hey, out of all the people, who would you like to have just to sit down and have a beer with? Of all people, just have a conversation with. And I forget who you said, but my two people were Stan Lee and Patrick Stewart.
Those are good ones.
And it was because not only is he's such a great actor and so professional, but he's got a really great, I think, sense of humor.
He's down to earth.
He's down to earth. But if you listen to the stuff he does on American Dad, the voiceover, he's very he would be such, I think, just an awesome person to hang out with and have a beer with and talk to and have a conversation. I love Patrick Stewart.
Another fun little piece of Patrick Stewart trivia. Just about 2 or 3 years ago, he finally had his first slice of pizza.
Wow.
He's like, I've just never been interested.
Dude, I'm 80 years old. I might as well have a piece of that.
He's like, pretty good.
Wow. Okay, so the actor Frank Finley who I think played, he might have been Flawed or something. I forget who he was not allowed to use his German accent for his role because Matilda May, who had never acted in English, was using his voice as a guide in how to act in English. Likewise, Michael Gothard was not allowed to do a German accent for some reason. So we had a lot of foreign actors, some German. We're not allowed to use their accents because it would throw off Matilda May and her ability to follow the script and do her lines. The model for the alien spaceship, which I said looked like a space dick, was modeled after an artichoke and meant to be designed. And here we go, meant to be designed like a giant penis.
Okay, fine.
So there you go.
Artichoke dick.
It's an artichoke dick. The Cannon Group and the Golden Globus Productions, the Golden Brothers, which are very famous in the Cannon Group, were renowned for making low-budget movies. Again, they also produced Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which is notoriously one of the worst movies ever made, and Masters of the Universe, which you all talked about. And where this movie Lifeforce, Superman 4, and The Quest for Peace were their 3 most expensive movies that they ever made.
So this is where they like broke the budget. They went all in.
Yes, this along the.
This was their effort to make a blockbuster.
Yes, this is awesome. Billy Idol, the rock star Billy Idol, was considered for one of the role of sexy silent vampires.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah,
except he wouldn't be able to speak.
Yeah,
you know, you need to be like, "We the rebel yell, I want more.
Yeah, it's a good day for a white wedding.
If he could just do a sneer though, just a sneer,
his
sneer that he does. Yeah.
But that'd been a great cameo. Like he should have done that just regardless. That'd been awesome. And Colin Wilson, the author of the original books, The Space Vampires, very much disliked the film, with his verdict being, well, at least there's a lot of full frontal nudity, and called it the worst movie adaptation of all time.
What an asshole.
What an ass, yeah. All right, so that being done, that's all I got for odds and ends.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Aaron, you did a lot.
I did a lot of research.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. Did you do the budget?
I saw it.
Fuck you!
I couldn't help it, man. I mean,
Damn it!
It's right there.
All right, well, we don't get to play it,
but
but I'm glad you're honest. We don't get to. But for you listeners at home,
take a guess, listeners.
Yeah, take a guess. The estimated budget for this movie was $25 million.
And it shows.
It shows.
It shows.
Now, do you know about the gross?
I do not.
All right, well, we'll play that game then.
Total.
We have opening weekend and total gross.
I do know it was a bust. I do know that.
Okay.
Because everything I read just kept saying the film was a flop. The film was a flop. The film was a flop.
All right, then fucking we're not going to.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, and again I don't remember. Was it 11 million?
All right. Opening weekend in the U.S. June 1985 was $4,209,136. Total gross was $11,603,554. That. Now, I found this interesting. I did a little deeper dive into where the movie ranked. It's funny. So it ranks 440th all time in the science fiction movies. So it's the 440th top grossing science fiction movie of all time.
That's weird.
379th horror movie of all time. 1,191 out of films based on books, and it came in at 68. Box office number 68 in 1985. So 67 other movies grossed higher than that in 1985. In 1985, it beat out such movies as Silver Bullet, Return to Oz, and American Ninja were movies it beat in 1985.
Oh, American Ninja.
But other movies from 1985 that did better were Clue.
Oh, I love Clue.
Everybody loves Clue. Real Genius, Weird Science, Porky's Revenge, Teen Wolf, The Breakfast Club, and The Goonies. 1985 was a goddamn good year for movies.
Yeah, a lot of competition there.
Other movies that beat Lifeforce in the horror genre: Return of the Living Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Friday the 13th Part 5, Fright Night, and the original Day of the Dead.
You were fucked. There was no way Lifeforce even could have made a dent.
You want to take a guess at the top 3 movies of 1985?
Cocoon?
No. Oh. You sounded so.
I did.
You put all your eggs in that basket. Jesus, Cocoon, really?
It came out in 1985. Come on. That's when Don Amici and fucking Wilford Brimley were dancing, doing the tango. How can Lifeforce compete?
Number 3, the third grossing movie of 1985 was Rocky 4.
Oh my God, you had Rocky 4.
Number 2
was in 85.
85. Number 2.
You sure it's Rocky 4?
This is yes, Rocky 4. That's what it said. Number 2, Rambo: First Blood Part 2. 2 Sylvester Stallone movies were the top 2 of the top 3 grossing movies of 1985.
I don't think that's right.
Number 1 movie in 1985 was like $300 million plus. Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, you were fucked, Lifeforce.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. So,
what would you rather go see, Goonies or Lifeforce?
That was a stacked year. Not just Goonies, but Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Real Genius, some John Hughes. That was God damn, that's a good year.
Yeah,
that's a good year.
You're pretty screwed.
So let's move on to the 5-star reviews.
Is this your guilty pleasure? 5-star reviews.
Now, there were a shit ton of reviews for this movie. 426 total reviews, 47% of them are 5 stars, with only 10% 1 stars. And because we're running along, I'm not going to do the 1 stars this week. We're just going to do the 5 stars. So from Object Reality writes, it's really a 4-star movie, but I'll give an extra star for Matilda May and her perfect body.
Booyah.
The story is an interesting premise, which I could see a modern franchise around, and it's more interesting than Underworld, in my humble opinion. 5 stars.
Weird.
Mr. Pinchy writes, Space Jugs, and even wrote in his title, he made the booby emoji in his sci-fi plus 80s plus memories plus practical special effects equals 5 stars. Very simple.
I gotta go with it. Space boobies.
Space boobies.
Well said, Mr. Pinchy.
Mark J. House. Anybody that knows their stuff knows the true vampires do not drink blood. They absorb your soul/life energy. Thus the term life force. Extremely powerful psychic abilities like telekinesis as well. But enough of that. Storyline: a massive spaceship approaches Earth that is spooky to look at to begin with. People are showing up on the streets soon after that act very cold and silent, much like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I didn't get that at all. These are not alien clones, however, psychic vampires from outer space! Exclamation mark. They are not at all what they appear to be. Wait until you see their true physical form. You will flip out! For some reason, they are especially interested in one particular man. They do not just seem to want to kill him for some reason. Now, why would that be? 5 stars. Stephen Reed writes, this film is more believable than most of your vampire films seen these days. 5 stars.
Okay.
From SJB, entitled, She Can Suck the Life Out of Me Anytime. I love it when Matilda May is naked, and it's every scene. 5 stars. From Trevor Wilmser, this is wrote in all bold, all caps. The greatest naked space vampire zombies from Halley's Comet running amok in London end of the world movie ever made. 5 stars.
True.
And lastly, from Creature Art. One of the reviews that were on this page said the movie was good, but not a masterpiece. Wrong! This underrated, creative, and imaginative film is Tobe Hooper's sleeping masterpiece. This flick is absolutely beautiful. If you are not conditioned like most of the world, then you will most likely love this flick. It's flat out different from anything you've ever seen before, and different in a great way. If you still have an imagination and you watch these types of movies and turn into a little kid again, then this flick is for you. And one more thing. A lot of you said this movie is hard to understand and the plot holes insult your intelligence. Well, number one, come on, people. It's just a fun sci-fi horror flick. It's not real. It's make-believe. Don't take it so serious. Number two, if you pay attention, the movie makes perfect sense. Movie fans with a Z. It seems to me that this is one of those movies you either love or you hate. The reviews I read from people that loved the film were very intelligent and meaningful reviews. The reviews I read from people I didn't like the flick sound like they were sci-fi nerds that couldn't take anything new or different, or that stays away from the run-of-the-mill alien movies. Or you just don't like Tobe Hooper. Anyway, take it from me, this movie is pure entertainment, and I love it! I believe that real honest movie fans with a Z will love it too. Later on, fellow horror fans, ENJOY! 5 stars.
I do love how he said, I read the comments from others who gave it 5 stars and they are intelligent, well-thought people. Space Jugs! 5 stars! Space Jugs! Intelligent, well-thought-out comments. Space Jugs!
So there's that.
Well read. You kind of went a little deep there.
I did.
Yeah. I don't know what you were channeling, but
I don't know either. It was the booze. Let's end this. Our final thoughts, our breakdown. Aaron, you always take this off, so go ahead.
So bad, it's good. My God, was this movie so much fun. Holy crap. I just could not. I didn't. You know what? The first 15 minutes, I'm like, oh boy, I don't know if this is going to be. Because it had the started off in space. It kind of had this slow build. It started off a little slow. 15 minutes is kind of a long time to kind of have nothing happen in a movie. You know, especially with today's audiences, things got to fucking kind of happen. You know, you got to have something to kind of pique my interest and get going. 15 minutes in, you're in space, and it's drawn out and kind of slow. And actually, the first time I watched it, I fell asleep in the first 15 minutes. I was already fucking tired, though. But man, right when she starts sucking the life out of it, and you see her naked, and then she's blowing shit up, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm in. And you just go off. Yes, there's plot holes. Yes, the story kind of falls apart. And in my research, I found that actually the movie was like a half hour longer. The movie, like, they cut a whole bunch out, and that helped. They said that the uncut version explains a lot of the plot holes and more of the mysteries. But god damn, is this movie so much fun. Space jugs, fuck yeah. Zombies getting sucked, like zombies exploding, crashing and stuff, fuck yeah. Patrick Stewart puking blood to make space blood boobies, fuck yeah. London burning, exploding, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. There was something I missed also in my description. There's a scene when a blue light goes down into the London subway system, into the tube system, and just starts killing all these people, and it's awesome, and flies back out. It's fucking awesome. This movie is amazing. It's so much fun and well acted. Sometimes they're a little too straight, but that just makes it more enjoyable. Check it out.
The British actors, man.
Moongoons, check it out. It's so good.
100% agree. I can't believe I didn't see this movie before. Although at first I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. The first 15 minutes a little slow. I get it, but at the same time, I'm okay with that because if you look at a lot of sci-fi movies, even Alien, if I remember correctly, had a really slow build. Like it wasn't, and all these movies have that. They build up the suspense, build up the terror. It's not a slash movie where you got the cold kills and all that stuff. I'm okay with that. The stuff in between, something like the office meeting stuff,
like
that stuff gets dragged. The exposition gets dragged on, but everything you said, I agree with. 100%. So bad it's good. This movie's insane. Yes, it's long, but you know what? It's well worth. You gotta watch this movie at least once.
Yeah.
Aaron said you watched it 3 times. I've watched it at least twice. I'm not gonna drag on because we're running really, really long this week. But so bad it's good. 100%. Go out and watch this movie. Like I said. The Patrick's are blood titties, space titties. Matilda May's smoking hot. Anything, watch it for that, and you get boobies constantly. It's an amazing movie. The special effects blow you away for 1985, especially when you think it's a canon movie. Canon movies normally suck, but they went all in on this one, and it shows. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Just watch this and enjoy it. That's it. I'm done. We're done. We'll be back next week with another movie. So in the meantime, guys, watch more horror movies and remember to always keep it tight.
Space titties!